Going on, everybody? Good old JM here with you on this Throwback Thursday as we present yet another out of the archives right here on the Casa D18 Studios. JJ, I know, has been working tirelessly to comb through everything on the NoDQ channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, on his own Casa D18 Studios, on the J Hebert 95 Studios, the Simple Man brand, to present to you something that you may not have seen before, something that you haven't seen in a long time, perhaps. I know I'm looking forward to what Renegade has in store, and I hope you are too. Kick your feet up, enjoy a little respite from the craziness of a Thursday, and enjoy this classic content right here on the Casa D18 Studios.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Guys, this is episode 40. 40 episodes of Talk Wrestling. I said XMV the first time. That's how long I've been taping this show. I'm reverting back to the old ways. We do double takes and triple takes, and just like XMV. But this is episode 40. And speaking of XMV, Mike Nagel has officially accepted my, not really a challenge, my invitation to appear on the NoDQ 10th anniversary show, which we're now officially calling the XMV Reunion, November 8th, 2008, 11/8/08. And I had two other guys give me a call when they found out about this. the best damn referee in wrestling today, in my humble opinion, because he saved my ass from a beatdown. Josh Tariff is coming out of online video retirement, make an appearance. Will he be serious? Will he be boring? Only you can find out by watching. Just like only you can prevent forest fires, only you can find out by watching Josh Tariff on NoDQ's anniversary. And a guy who is halting his wedding invitations going out to give me a call. Of course, by the time that goes up on the air, he will be the married Lee Aaron, the artist formerly known as, well, he asked me not to use the name, so I won't. You know who he is. The co-host of the Tuesday show of XMV for a good long while. My best friend. The man whose best man I will be November 2nd, which is very soon. Derek Werstiuk. W-E-R-S-T-I-U-K. Like, why is WWE not acknowledging R-Truth as K-Quick? They're trying to get him over as a different character. Very much similar to the Ron the Truth Killings character in TNA. I'm not talking to you. Shut up. They're not acknowledging it because they're trying to get him over as a separate character. If they acknowledge his past as K-Quick, people look him up and go, wow, he didn't really do very much until he went to TNA. And WWE wants to get him over as a WWE character. So, they're going to acknowledge R-Truth, reference to Ron the Truth Killings, but they're not going to mention his past. They don't mention a lot of guys' past, you know. You don't hear him talking much about Brian Kendrick's past now. Now he's the Brian Kendrick. So, they're just trying to get guys over as their own characters and not trying to... More beeping. More noises. Jeebus, I thought it was the camera dying around you or something. Outside. Gotta love that. I can't go inside until the next couple shows, and I'm sorry. I feel bad, but it is the way it is. WWE's not gonna acknowledge that until maybe later if he wins a major title. Like, oh, by the way, he did this too. So we'll see. This one is from Chris Knowles. Should ECW have a lower second-tier title like the Hardcore... Dude, people. You know what? That's the old question of the week right there. But we're not going to call it the old question of the week anymore. Just for you internet people, let's see if I can do this with my hat on. Facepalm. Oh, facepalm be like this more. I can't do it with my hat on. Facepalm question of the week. I get that question at least once a week, and I don't use it because it is stupid. ECW is a 1-hour show, and I made a point to talk about this. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned that TNA was a 1-hour show. I screwed up. It's a 2-hour show now. It has been for a long time. I just don't pay attention because TNA is getting better. But I'll get to I didn't talk about Bound for Glory last week. I will talk about Bound for Glory this week. Very upset with Bound for Glory. TNA is a 2-hour show, but ECW is only a 1-hour show, and they do enough to fill the 1 hour without having a second-tier title. They have the ECW champion, and that's all they need. They don't need any other titles, just like none of the other brands or TNA any other titles. They've got plenty of belts to go around. It's all good, people. This one's from Robert Martin. He wants to know what I think Mick Foley will bring to TNA. Well, as of this upload, TNA and Mick Foley is undecided. He's going to make a big announcement tomorrow night on Impact, or tonight on Impact, depending on what day it goes in. Live from Las Vegas. We should be there. We should be taping that. We all know he's not done. We all know he's not going to retire or step away completely. He's going to be involved with TNA for a while. He signed a short-term deal, yes, but it wasn't a one-night-only deal. That's kind of silly to think that. Mick Foley will bring the brand name standing to TNA. Mick Foley is a well-known name. He has been for the last, I would say, a good 12 to 13 years since he became Mankind. Yes, he was known as Cactus Jack for a while, but that was in WCW and ECW, and they weren't really, super popular. I think that Mick Foley brings an aura of credibility to TNA to a point. Yeah, Ric Flair will argue with me all night, and Bret Hart will argue with me all night about, his credibility, the fact that he's, again, one of those spot monkeys that we're going to talk about, I guess, later in the question. But Mick Foley is legitimately one of the biggest stars in the history of the business, and he brings that to TNA. Garrett South has a very good question from my Yahoo Mail. What are your thoughts on the outside world looking down on us wrestling fans? The outside world can kiss my ass, and that's a true story. The mainstream media, the outside world, the people looking in on the wrestling business tend to look down on the wrestling business, and they always have. The people that aren't wrestling fans, the people that aren't, the marks like me, or the smart marks like, the people that write for NoDQ.com or whatever, they tend to look down on the business, and I think that's very sad, because it's just like any other form of it's just like, going to a baseball game or going to a football game. Yes, that's real sports compared to gimmick sports or whatever, or, predetermined outcomes, but you know what? It's still a great form of entertainment. It's still fun to watch, and I think it's very sad that the people tend to look down on us and look down on everybody involved in the business. I know, for one, at my old jobs, I used to get very teased and ridiculed for my involvement in any way in the wrestling business, because for the last 6 years I've been involved in some way or another in the wrestling business, be it XMV or the interviews I've done or anything like that, and people look down on it, and it sucks. It sucks being the subject of ridicule. Nobody knows that better than me, especially with the Nego Order questions that are going on lately. Let's see. I know it says Sebastian, and I'm going to guess Farber, Faerber on Yahoo. Should Paul London leave WWE for the TNA X division? Yes. Paul London is not being used right now on TV. He's, biting. I think he might be hurt, but I don't know if that's true or not. He needs to be used properly, and he's not going to get that in WWE. His partner is being pushed to the moon as the Brian Kendrick with Ezekiel with him, but Paul London's not going to get any type of FaceTime like that at all, and that's just the sad truth. Paul London needs to be somewhere he's going to be showcased. I think TNA might be the place for him. The Indy circuit also, he won't make as much money, but, the Indy circuit, he can, name his own price and do his own thing. And TNA won't allow him that luxury anymore. TNA is not very much, the Indies scene they used to be. TNA is very much WWE light, so maybe even TNA's not the place for him. But if they use him right, then go for it. If they don't, I would say the Indie circuit would be the best place for Paul London. Shane Dowse, do you think WWE could be doing more with the new stars? I think they're pushing them pretty good. They're getting the FaceTime. They're not getting the right FaceTime. Something like Scotty Goldman, Cole Cabana. He's getting a terrible bum rap. I think it sucks that he's, getting the push he's getting, because he looks like a goofball. Excuse me. But all those guys you see on ECW, the Superstar Initiative, if you will, those guys are getting the right amount of FaceTime. Teddy Long and WWE is doing the right thing there. Giving the guys the right amount of FaceTime, giving them some exposure, and seeing how they do in the big pond. They're swimming in the small pond in Florida. Throw them in the big lake. Throw them in the pool. See how they do. And they can only sink or swim in WWE, and that's just the way it is. And I think the new stars are getting the right amount of exposure to get either sink or swim. Junior Mwap, I guess, MWAPE. These names on Yahoo and MySpace, I'm telling you, people. Spell them out phonetically for me. That way I know how to pronounce them. Will the Machine Guns heel turn get them a title push? I'm not really sure if they've turned fully heel or not yet. They keep, teasing them back and forth. They played babyface at Bound for Glory, teaming up together and trying to win the Steel Asylum match. But then you see him slap Christian. Christian in the face, and BG James and all those guys in the face. So it's very hard to tell where they are right now. They're probably a good tweener team. They should be tag team champions. They should have been involved in a tag team title match. If not already, then they should be soon. They deserve it more than any other team. I think they are the best non-title holding tag team in TNA right now, and that's saying a lot because you have 3D, you've got Abyss and Matt Morgan, you've got LAX, but the Guns are great, and they should be showcased as such, and they're not, and it sucks. Fernando, I'm going to go with Carcamo, C-A-R-C-A-M-O, Carciamo? No, Carcamo. Would the Clique succeed today as an on-screen faction? Well, you had Michaels, Hall, Nash, Helmsley, and Waltman, and sometimes Just Incredible. At this point in their careers, no. Nash is having fun in TNA, doing what he's doing. Hall is working Puerto Rico sometimes, and sometimes he's semi-retired. You never know with Hall. Michaels is still doing very well for himself in WWE. He's still the showstopper. He's still the go-to guy a lot of the time. And, of course, Triple H is the man. Triple H is the man on SmackDown and has been. And you got 1-2-3 Kid, Sean Waltman, who is kind of doing his own thing. I believe in Mexico now. I haven't talked to him in, God, a couple years now, it seems like to me. May have been only a year. I don't know. You know, as an on-screen faction, no. You know, they worked best behind the scenes, doing their thing and working their angles, and you know, being what they are, and that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. You know, they got a pretty bum rap for, you know, doing the things they did, but you know what? Hey, whatever it takes to get to the top, in my opinion, whatever it takes to succeed is the way to go. Robbie O'Sullivan, is the Brian Kendrick headed toward a Michaels Diesel scenario? No, I don't think they're going to have Ezekiel turn on Kendrick and turn babyface and do that. That's kind of a long shot, I think. I don't think Ezekiel has the kind of charisma that Kevin Nash did, the kind of star power that Kevin Nash did to make that happen right for him. I think Ezekiel's going to be with Kendrick until Kendrick turns on him and becomes a babyface again, if that happens. I don't see that happening to Brian Kendrick, where Ezekiel turns on him and becomes the next Diesel at all. That's just that's way out of the realm of my comprehension. I don't see that happening at all. This one's from Shade. What is your opinion on Spot Fests? I think spots, simply for the sake of spots, is kind of ridiculous. You know, with the Jeff Hardy match, you're going to see Whisper in the Wind, you're going to see a Swanton, and that's kind of like, okay, we expect it. When they happen out of nowhere, that's cool. When you don't expect them to happen, that's when they're cool to see. That's when they're, you know, they're great to watch. But spot fests, like nothing but spots in the match, I get kind of bored by that, because it's like, okay, I've seen these happen before, and you see them a lot on the indie circuit with guys that are high flyers that think that the crowd's only going to like them if they do spot after spot after spot after spot after spot. And that's not the case. A lot of indie wrestling fans want to see the ground stuff. A lot of indie fans want to see the mat work too. And they tend to just do spot after spot after spot. And it gets boring, it gets old. And, you know, a spot here and there, okay, but a spot fest, I don't like that. Alright, Bound for Glory happened a couple weeks back. I didn't mention it last week because I was still kind of peeved about it. Sting is once again the champion. I don't get that at all. Kevin Nash turning on Joe, I get that, but I don't get Sting being champion again. 3 years in a row he's been world champion after Bound for Glory. Makes no sense. I know he's a name talent, but he's way past his prime. He shouldn't be holding a championship. Monsters Ball was hysterical. Poor Abyss got all fried, deep fried and cooked. 3D got robbed of the tag titles by Beer Money in the end. Taylor Wilde still the Knockouts champion. I'm somewhat surprised. I figured Kong would win, but Kong's facing her on Impact this week at Vegas, so we'll see what happens there. Bashir's still the X Division champion. That surprised me a lot. I figured Creed was in line for the title. I didn't think that would go the way it went. Booker beat AJ and Christian. That surprised me. Most of the finishes kind of were like, they were very Russo finishes. And, Russo is very much in charge of the writing team. You can see the influence of Vince Russo. I'm not saying Vince Russo is a bad person. I will never say he's a bad person anymore. But his writing style is getting very predictable, and it's just like, wow. If you couldn't see the Sting Joe finish coming, Kevin Nash said, then you're not paying attention. I'm not paying attention, obviously. Excuse me. What else happened out for Glory? Rhino, ODB, and Raka beat the Beautiful People. I'm not surprised there, to be honest with you. The fact that Kip James is a beautiful person, I guess. Kip's like, what, 40? 45? The Asylum match was good. The X Division Asylum match, that was pretty good. Jay Lethal, Black Machismo won that match. I liked how he was hanging on by his feet, and just pounding Sanjay. That was cool. That was a very cool spot. Again, but it was a funny spot. You had Curry Man almost break his ankles. You had Johnny Devine go for divine intervention on Jimmy Rave and almost break Rave's neck. What the fuck was that about Divine? He almost killed him. Anyway, I wasn't happy Bound for Glory. Whatever. Cyber Sunday's coming up soon. I know there's Triple H, and he's either going to face Jeff Hardy or Kozlov or both. I would say they'll vote in Jeff Hardy, and Triple H will retain again. Jericho's going to have to deal with Shawn Michaels as a special referee, but somehow he'll win against Batista. The tag match choice, you're probably going to see Crime Time versus the Miz and Morrison, in which Miz and Morrison will prevail. I can't think of any other matches off the top of my head. I'm not prepared for Cyber Sunday predictions, so we'll get more to that next week, or maybe in a couple weeks. We'll see. In any event, this is Jeff. I am Jeff Meacham, and you're not. XMV reunion coming up November 8th with Josh, Lee, and Mike. NoDQ&AV coming back that day for one day only. And that's it for episode 40. We will see you next time on Talk Wrestling. I'm pumped up at NoDQ's anniversary, Aaron. I'm fired up, man. Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! NoDQ's anniversary, Aaron. So that's what happens when I get involved with XMV. I get all like goofy. Can't do that. Gotta be serious. It's a serious show.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's installment of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, here to bring you my thoughts on the independent wrestling scene. And I'm actually going to start with mainstream wrestling for a change, because I was privy to be at the Raw House show last Friday in LA at Staples Center. Y'all saw After the Bell yesterday went up with the live Q&A filmed from outside there. I'm actually going to touch on what happened inside the building. It was me, Stat Boy, and our good buddy Mikey, Mikey O'Shea, to some of you guys out there that know the SoCal indie scene, joined us for the show. We all had a great time. First thing that happened for the night was Brodus Clay making his funky return, if you will, to take on David Otunga. And I was a little bit surprised that they put Brodus over in this match. Not because, they've been pushing him on TV and that's all great, but they've also, in the last couple of weeks, really been giving David Otunga this huge push as Laurinaitis' assistant. So it surprised me just a little bit that they had him go ahead and job to Brodus, taking a little bit of that momentum away. Ryback, which y'all will remember as Skip Sheffield, former Nexus founding member, defeated A-Rai. Decent little match, more or less of a squash, trying to establish Ryback's dominance, which is not that dominant to me, I'm sorry. I'd prefer watching Brodus over Ryback. Eve came out and cut a huge heel promo, talking about how people use each other all the time and all that good stuff, and I think about half the crowd fell asleep. Until Beth Phoenix and Brie Bella came out and people actually, were into a Divas match. Because Beth Phoenix was out there. She defeated Nikki Bella to retain the title in what really was a decent little match, all things considering. I mean, the Bellas aren't exactly the best workers in the company, but Beth was able to hide Nikki's weaknesses and pull a really good match out of her. U.S. title was then on the line. Jack Swagger versus The Miz and R-Truth. R-Truth actually came out to the ring to What's Up, rapped along the lyrics and everything, just like he did on TV back in the day. It's kind of cool to see that live again. Miz came out, typical heel promo from The Miz, running down the Lakers and the Clippers and all that stuff. Jack Swagger got the victory, retained his title obviously, because as y'all saw on Raw, he came out with the belt, so no title change. And that leads us to what is quite possibly the main event segment of the night for me. Chris Jericho and his heel promo. Oh my God. Chris Jericho got so much heat with the crowd that people threw toilet paper at him. I don't know if the guy ended up getting ejected from the arena or what, but they spent about a good 5 minutes trying to find the dude before Chris would even continue talking. It was a glorious throwback to the old days where freaking like the NWO were getting sodas and beer bottles and stuff thrown at them. That's what it reminded me of. Then he went ahead to defeat Kofi Kingston in what felt like a really, really short match, but I guess it went close to 20 minutes at the end of the day. But it just felt short because the heel promo and everything took so long to get through that the match almost felt secondary at that point. Tag champions Primo and Epico retained their titles over the Cobra and Mason Ryan. Decent little match. I tried to get some good pictures throughout the whole night, and I really wanted to get some good pictures during this match, but people just kept getting in my way when it came to Rosa shaking her butt. I just could not get a solid picture of Rosa. Cena Kane last man standing. I'll bet you can't bet who won that match, huh? No surprise, Cena won. And then your main event was CM Punk over Dolph Ziggler with Jericho as the special enforcer, adding more fuel to their fire leading into WrestleMania. All in all, I haven't been to a house show since 2003, I want to say. I just have never really dug the house show scene, but this house show was really, really good. It felt like it could have been a solid TV episode, much better than what we actually saw on Raw. That brings me to where I was Saturday night. Battleground Pro Wrestling, baby. BPW presented Counter-Strike and all of that Federation's glory. It was a real solid show. I'm not going to go match by match for this one. I am just going to give like the greatest hits, if you will. Tito Escondido versus Tyler Bateman. That match was sick. I don't know how else to really describe it. That match just was such a great technical back and forth match that I was very, very glad to have been there to be able to witness it. Tyler Bateman has impressed me now. The second time I've seen him perform live. Wild, the Epic Wild show, and then here. But Tyler is just impressing me every time I see him. His look reminds me of CM Punk a little bit. Let me see here. What do we have next? We had Levi Shapiro versus Famous B. Not really much to talk about during this match except watching my fiance's reaction when Levi Shapiro came out to a rock version of Hava Nagila. Like, she was rocking out in her seat. It was freaking hilarious just to watch. Let me see here. Chris Cadillac and B-Boy defeating Jeremy Yeager and Simon Lotto via pinfall. B-Boy and Cadillac are tentatively known as the Working Dead, while Lotto and Yeager are currently going by the name The Greater Good, which also had the debut of Mondo Vega, local guy out here, not real familiar with him. I'm hoping to learn more about him in the coming weeks and months so that I can properly report on him to y'all. But it was a really good, high fast-paced, high-action match. Tag team titles. Silverheart Radicals versus the Knights. Again, hard-hitting, well fought out. Knights once again lost, but I think there's more going on here than what we're seeing. Sam Knight got on the microphone afterwards and issued a challenge to Sasha Derevko, who denied the challenge, at least at this point, to which I made the tweet earlier, and it was actually one of the best tweets of the night from either me or Jeff. I even get a hashtag Jeff Meacham approved on this one. Basically saying that the Knights were telling Derevko to know Yavengi's role and shut Yavengi's mouth. Hashtag Knights bring it live, not via satellite.
Screw you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Jeff, for having to say something on the show.
You're welcome. So that was it. That was really going to be it.
Mikey O'Shea and Extreme Loco went to a 15-minute time limit draw.
Brutal.
Very, very good, brutal match. Ended up with both of them getting suspended. So we'll see what happens there and how long their suspension lasts. Joey Ryan versus Willie Mack for the West Coast Wrestling Company Heavyweight Championship. Joey had to cheat to win. Famous B came out at the end of the match and issued a challenge to Joey for a rematch from January. So that should be interesting next month. And then the main event was Rico Dynamite defending his title versus Brandon Gatson, which unfortunately I didn't pay as close attention to as I was hoping to, because the show was already running long and we had to start packing everything up so that we could get out of there, because my fiance had to be to work at like 7 a.m. the next day and it was already pushing midnight. So that's what I've got for y'all this week. I apologize if I brushed through it rather quickly. I wanted to try to make sure I touched on everything and didn't go too long, considering a lot of y'all don't really care about the indie stuff. Be on the lookout tomorrow for a brand new RSI. Thursday is going to be the Fantasy Wrestling Company from me and Jeff. Clocks in at over an hour long. The longest episode ever to air thus far on the channel. It should be very, very interesting. I'm going to be curious to see what y'all have to say about that episode, because me and Jeff, we had fun filming it. We had fun doing the project. We even watched it back and both had fun like rewatching the finished product. So we're going to be very curious to see what you fans think about that episode once it goes up. For the whole Casa D18 Studios team, I'm the Renegade of Wrestling JJ Williams, and I will see you next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
What's cracking, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages? This is the special Chicks on Wrestling Montreal Screwjob. I am your hostess, Pinky, the hit girl, like Pinky, and this is
Jade, the showstopper?
cool. You got a couple more names: Icon,
There we go.
Band.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
I just remembered showstopper for some reason.
Works for me. So yeah, this is our Montreal Screwjob episode. This is a project we've been working on for quite a while for you, our fans.
Why I gotta be the bad guy though?
Because I love pink and I'm not wearing shine. No, thank you. Well, let's see. For the better part of about 15 years, a lot of the fans around the world have had some of their personal issues and personal views on the Montreal Screwjob happen on November 9th, 1997, which changed the face of professional wrestling just
Forever.
to no end. Let's start with Shawn Michaels. Shawn was brought up through American Wrestling Alliance, AWA,
Yep.
WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, for those of you who don't know, USWA.
We actually found AWA on our TV.
We sure did.
The other day.
And we actually saw
Actually,
Shawn
I did.
Michaels. We actually saw Shawn Michaels, Marty, and Mr. Perfect versus Playboy Buddy Rose, Duck Summers, and it looked like Mad Dog for Shawn, but he was under a different name in AWA. That was pretty hilarious. How young did they look?
Huh.
I know. So, let's get kick-started here with Shawn Michaels. Tell the fans, what do you know about the man? His notes might help, I'm just saying.
Yeah, even though I can't understand your chicken scratch.
Touch on a couple of the fact how he came up and...
If I can understand your scratch.
Oh
Yeah,
my
chicken
God.
scratch, can't talk.
It's on that chicken scratch.
To me.
Oh my God, you are so special.
Let's see what the fans think.
This is not chicken scratch. Well, let's just say for those of who haven't watched Heartbreak and Triumph, the Shawn Michaels story, Shawn Michaels came up the ranks, as I said, and finally landed in the WWF around 1988, and along with his tag team partner Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty, yeah.
What's up? Hi Goober, how are you? Anyway, it's pretty apparent that Shawn Michaels actually had the skills to pay the bills, per se.
He was good.
I would say so.
He was really good. They were both really good.
Yes, as the Rockers.
That's the reason why Brett actually wanted to wrestle the both of them.
I agree. We'll get to Brett in just a minute. But you're absolutely right. I would say Shawn Michaels broke out singles career and won championships, accolades,
Tons.
TV shows, title reigns.
Did he do TV shows? I
He
thought that was
did.
just Brett.
No, Jenny Jones,
Oh.
Baywatch.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, definitely. He still had a lot to prove as far as like if he can really go in the ring. So enter Bret the Hitman.
I think a lot of them actually do that though. A lot of wrestlers start kind of with shows and stuff, and then really show how much they can be in the ring.
Okay.
Because they start with their star power. And then once they have their fan base, I think then they start really going into their wrestling, because then they now have, you know, people that follow them.
That's pretty interesting. Excuse me, I'm working with a sore throat here, so
People
my
are
voice
shaky
sounds
in the house.
Yeah, my throat sounds a little raspy, so my bad. Bret Hart came up through Stampede Wrestling, which was his father's promotion in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh my
What's up,
God.
Canada? It's cracking. Came up through Stampede before landing. Yeah, tough as all get out until landing in the WWF in about 1984, around the surge of you know, nationwide wrestling. You know, Vince McMahon was taking over territories, and Bret was a part of the new, you know, the new age. You had Bret, you had Shawn, you had Marty, you had Mr. Perfect, you had all these other guys that was coming up at the same time.
Which I actually thought that Bret was after Shawn. I didn't know that Bret was before Shawn until I saw the DVDs.
Way before Shawn Michaels. Way before Shawn Michaels, which is pretty cool. So, you have Bret, who, student of the game all his life, born into wrestling royalty. You can't get
and
no
not
better
Triple
than
H.
She said.
I just know our fans.
Oh, you guys are horrible. Wrestling royalty, and him along with Jim the Elbow Neidhart just wrecked shop in the tag team division, and had some fantastic matches with the Rockers. That was not even televised, but the Rockers actually won the
It was such an amazing match, and it sucks that it wasn't televised.
I was pissed.
I still think to this day that it should have been redone.
Fix the ring.
Like not even redone, but at least give them a rematch.
It'd be nice.
That would be aired on TV.
It would be nice, but that didn't necessarily happen. So let's just fast forward a few years. Bret Hart has done some amazing things in the wrestling business. He's become the king of the ring. Twice, if I'm not mistaken. He is Triple Crown winner. He's all these accolades, but as small as his stature as he was, it was pretty hard for him to kind of prove himself in the land of the giants. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, until you had guys like Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat come through and showcase their talents at a WrestleMania, and like, ooh, Bret's like, cool, I can do this. Well, let's see how long it took Bret. It took Bret a few years to win his first WWE title in his hometown. And that was absolutely beautiful. And it was finally time to see if Bret can really hang. Enter Bret versus Shawn, 1992.
I wonder, honestly, if that's why it meant so much to him to not lose the title in Canada.
Well,
because he won it in Canada, so.
Well, that's a really good question. What do you guys think? Do you honestly think that the title meant so much to Bret because he first won it in Saskatoon, Canada, back in 1992 from Ric Flair, and had to then defend it and drop it to Shawn Michaels less than 5 years later? You guys tell us, comment box right here. Fast forward to WrestleMania 12. The Iron Man match. Shut up. I'm tongue-tied. I'm still floating.
It's all good. We all get tongue-tied.
Yeah.
Tongue-tied. What?
Oh my God.
Tongue-tied.
The 1 hour.
See, one starts and the other one follows.
The 1 hour Iron Man match. Fantastic match from start to finish.
Great match.
You cannot get a better match than that.
I was glued to the TV, and
she really was. Now, fast forward to Bret leaving the WWF shortly after that match. He wanted to, do a couple things, and Shawn Michaels gets pushed to the top. You have guys like Stone Cold getting pushed to the top, and when Bret comes back, he's a tad sore about some things. He's a tad pissed off because this was the generation that he knew. This is what the wrestling he knew about. Really? No. Well, Enter Survivor Series 1997. No one will ever remember the rest of the card for this pay-per-view, just only the main event. In Canada, Montreal.
Main event to remember.
Apparently so, because, oh my gosh, the action started hot and heavy. Now, you guys tell me something. Since Shawn Michaels has come clean about all of this, about being privy to the screwing of Bret Hart, do you honestly think if he had met Jesus, he would have said so by now?
No.
I don't think so.
That's my personal opinion, but
okay,
no.
Give me a reason as to why you don't think he would.
Because he was too much into drugs and all that. He was screwed up in the head, you know, from all the drugs, from everything that he was doing to himself, and just wasn't right. And so I don't think anybody in that way, you know, Shawn Michaels or not, would be right to say or to do.
Well, I tend to agree, because if he ain't found Jesus, I don't think he would have said a word about the screw job on Jesus.
He even said he would do it again.
No, he didn't necessarily say that. He just said he's not sorry a bit. He's not sorry for what he did because he thought what he did was right for the business. Not that he would do it again.
He didn't technically say he would do it again, but he led you to believe he was saying that.
Well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Now, you tell me, you have a guy like Bret the Hitman Hart who's been with your company for eons and eons. You sign him a 20-year deal and you back out. You have another rival promotion offering this man millions. Oh God, millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. Okay, shut up.
We just totally turned this to not a serious thing.
But how do you think Bret should have reacted? I honestly think Bret did what he thought was right, but reasonable creative control notwithstanding, the way that the screw job was handled was just disgusting, disgraceful, horrible, and it was just wrong. I mean, you want the man to lose in his home country. That's like Sheamus losing in Ireland. Never gonna happen.
Not now.
Definitely not now. Probably
maybe back then.
No, I doubt it very seriously. But you honestly think Bret was really just gonna take this lion down? I don't think so. We had the wonderful opportunity in our research to research Wrestling with Shadows, which chronicled everything.
I love that DVD.
She actually doesn't like documentaries, but
I hate
loved this one.
I hate him with a passion.
But she loved this one.
I love it.
It was interesting to see the insight as to what was going on behind the scenes. Bret trying to make sure this is the right thing for him to do, and I don't want to lose the title in my home country. Give me, let me come out the next night like Shawn did and drop the title. Why can't I just do that? Why I gotta be the one to, drop the title in my hometown to this little punk over here?
Especially being that Shawn came in after him, I think.
Well, not necessarily that, because at one time they did respect each other.
Right, but I think it might have had a little bit to do with it. I don't know, because I'm not Bret, but maybe that was in the back of his mind a little bit.
Maybe, maybe not, but you have some wrestlers like Bret Hart that might take the business, and please do not say it's Hitman fans, because I love the pink and black attack. They might have taken it too seriously, but that's how he grew up.
Yes.
That's what he is about.
Right.
He loves his business and loved everything about it. But to screw the man in his hometown, to be referee Earl Hebner, to tell him to his face, I swear on my kids I wouldn't do that to you, no matter what they told me. Well, yeah. 10 minutes before the match, I guess he made his decision loud and fucking clear, did he not?
Please.
Now, getting to the match was a clusterfucky of a match, but it was so well planned. It was so beautiful. Until
it was a great match until
Shawn Michaels Shawn Michaels,
I was talked into it.
wrapped him in a sharpshooter, and Earl having to ring the bell. What?
And then running.
And then running out the ring. So basically,
running out the building.
Exactly. So basically, Bret Hart just gave Vince McMahon his heart, his soul, and his livelihood, and Vince, for all his millions of dollars with his stupid company, just fucked him. Because why? He didn't want him taking the title to, let's say, WCW wrestling and dropping the title in the trash like Alundra Blaze did. You didn't really see her much after that, did you?
See, I think that is just in itself wrong because of the fact that all these people put their lives in Vince's hands and in each other's hands, you know, to, you know, make this show, and all that Bret was asking was just to lose the title, or not lose the title, in his home country.
Okay, so basically he just wanted to DQ Smogs, whatever.
Right. Being that he is someone that was faithful to Vince for so long, don't you think that Vince should have, you know, gave him that honor, that privilege?
Maybe.
Being that he gave him creative, or some creative control?
Well, no one ever claimed Vince to be smart. I can't say Vince is the biggest idiot, but kind of is. But it's like this. When it comes to that and the screw job, Vince messed up.
Yeah.
Royally, because if you didn't want nobody to have that much creative control, you should have said that. You shouldn't have put in his contract reasonable creative control.
But he might have just, like everybody tells me, spoke before he thought.
Yeah, diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Vince,
but did it a business way.
Yeah, but still, there that those thoughts still apply in this situation. Think before you speak, because you're an idiot. I'm sorry, Vince and Kenny McMahon, you are the dumbass here. You done lost your mind. Bret gave you 14 years of his life, his heart and soul, no pun intended, career, and you just piss him off, piss him away, because why? You wanted to back out of your deal. All you had to do is say, I couldn't pay him.
Right.
And which he did say, you can't pay him, but still, really? And then he gets, you know, before he even gets to WCW, he gets screwed for basically no reason. What do you guys think about this? We have a running debate here. Did Vince screw Bret, or did Bret screw Bret? Interesting questions. Or did Shawn and Triple H screw Bret?
Yeah.
Because as word would have it, Triple H was the catalyst behind the whole thing. He didn't pull the trigger, but he sure brought things into position. Which put the idea in Vince's head to screw Bret.
Which again, it still falls back on Vince, because I'm sorry, but why are you going to have your stars making your decisions for you? Telling you, you know, ideas to screw one of your biggest men.
A bunch of catty yes men. Worse than old biddies in the church, I'm just saying. Worse than choir members, I'm just saying.
Okay, but Triple H wasn't even dating his daughter by the
like
that
I
time
said.
yet. You know,
Catty,
I would understand it if he was dating Stephanie by then.
Like I said, catty biatches. Worse than biddies in the church, worse than choir members on stage. For real stuff.
Hunter, you are my man to the end, but done fucked up.
His fault. And I support Bret the entire way, because that's just my personal opinion on it.
I do love Bret now, though.
Do you know?
Oh, I do.
For his athletic ability or his looks?
Definitely not his looks. It's all his athletic ability. I love Bret, but he ain't pretty.
Damn! Brett and
Pretty.
Brett Sargent Hart, you are like sexy.
No.
And his birthday is 6 days before mine. Yay. He is the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. Thank you very much. And Shawn Michaels, just the heartbreak kid, the showstopper, the icon, the main event. Yeah. Got his ass whooped by Taker.
Yeah, he's still cute though.
Whatever. Googly-eyed mofo.
Although, I did not like him
Googly movie.
after watching all this homework. I was mad.
You was just a hater. Anyway, kids, you guys tell us what you think. Give us your thoughts, your comments about this subject. Post them here. Down where? Down there. The comment box is like right
there.
And thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in this week on Chicks on Wrestling, this special Montreal
Thank you so
Screwjob.
much for watching.
You guys are awesome. And we will check you later. Bye.
Later.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that, that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a mite or a squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potentials.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better, or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
there's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out and separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special, special man.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. I am the owner of NoDQ, Aaron Rift. Hell in a Cell was last night. Raw's tonight. We got a lot going on, so let's get right down to your questions. What did you think about the ending of Hell in a Cell? I thought it was really well done. WWE is in the PG era. I thought the whole ending with John Cena being locked out of the cage and then Alberto Del Rio using that to his advantage and winning the match, winning back the WWE title. I thought it was unique. I thought it was something different, a different way to utilize the cell. With the whole PG limitations, you got to do something different. So, thumbs up to WWE on that, using that to advance the whole storyline between John Cena and Alberto Del Rio. As I mentioned on the quick recap video, it looks like the whole John Cena title win was just a way to get a cheap rating, just pop a rating. And I wasn't really a big fan of that, but having Alberto Del Rio as champion going into the Tour of Mexico is what makes sense, and having John Cena chase the title, that's what makes sense at this point. And then the aftermath with Miz and R-Truth coming out, really well done. I like this whole outsider storyline with Miz and R-Truth and the whole idea of Triple H losing control as each week progresses. So it makes you want to tune into Raw and see what's going to happen next. So yeah, definitely a big plus in that regard. Overall, decent pay-per-view by WWE. The Mark Henry is still the World Heavyweight Champion, which I was a little surprised. As I mentioned before, I was thinking Orton was going to get it back and that it was just going to be a brief run, but I'm glad WWE is giving Mark Henry a shot here and continuing to push him as a monster. Well done. What do you think about Cody Rhodes bringing back the old IC title at Hell in a Cell? I thought it was pretty cool. As I mentioned before on other videos, I was a big fan of the old school IC title belt design. That was one of my favorites, so I'm glad they brought it back. And it's something different to do with Cody Rhodes because his gimmick is getting a little bit stale. And, just bringing back the belt, it's something different. I do give WWE some credit with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in terms of trying to do some different things. And, it wasn't super predictable. It was, Miz and R-Truth was expected, but the way they did it, I thought, like I said, was really well done. And that includes the whole IC title. I liked it. Hey, Aaron, did you see Hell in a Cell finish 25 minutes early last night? It's pathetic that people pay these prices for pay-per-views and then don't even get 3 full hours. WWE wonders why their buy rates are dropping. Well, this was the first time in a while where it ended really early, and it is a problem if it keeps happening time and time again, but sometimes, just things happen that are out of your control and the pay-per-view just ends early, Sometimes it runs late. Everything is timed to go a certain way, but it doesn't always go that way. I think if it happens again, there could be a problem, but for now, I just think it was just a one-time incident where it just ended early for whatever reason. Hey, Aaron, do you prefer Alex Riley as a face or heel? I think he is much better as a heel. Your thoughts? Well, when he first turned face, it looked really promising. He had a lot of fire when he beat up the Miz. The crowd was just going crazy for it and getting really behind him. But yeah, he's kind of floundered in the last couple months. So maybe he's best off staying as a heel for the time being. Definitely, when he was a heel, he was able to get the heat, and he's pretty good on the mic. So yeah, at this point, I would just put him back as a heel because he's really lost in the shuffle right now, and a heel turn could do him a lot of good. And we've been saying that about guys like John Morrison for the longest time, that they need to turn heel and freshen up their character or whatever. Especially Morrison. He's in limbo right now. Do you see Zack Ryder becoming a champion soon? I see him being a United States champion sometime in 2012. I definitely think it's a possibility. Right now, I kind of see Zack Ryder as like the new Santino Marella, especially with Marella being off TV right now due to injury. I remember Marella was IC champion, so yeah, I think Zack Ryder has a good shot at getting it at some point. He's starting to, the WWE is finally starting to do something with him. He got a win on SmackDown this week. So yeah, good things seem to be ahead for Zack Ryder. We'll see what happens. Do you think Stone Cold could still put on a good match? Absolutely. If he's in there with the right guy, I think he could have a great match. If he's in there with a CM Punk or a Randy Orton, I think Steve Austin would be able to go at 95%. I'm sure he's not going to be able to ever go at 100% again, but even 95% Steve Austin would still be tremendous. When did WWE realize Rock was turning into a movie star and would be leaving WWE? I think it was around the time after WrestleMania 17 when he was gone for about 4 or 5 months. At that point, you kind of figure that he's starting to make that transition into movies, and it wasn't just a one-shot deal. Like in 2000, he did that Scorpion King sequel or the Mummy sequel, whatever it was. It was like around April 2000. He was gone for like a week or two, and that was it. He just made like a brief. Yeah, I think it was the Mummy sequel because he only had the small role in that. So. Yeah, but by the time 2001 came along and he actually did the Scorpion King and he was gone for 4 months, that was kind of the sign that he wasn't going to be sticking around, and he was starting to make that transition into movies full time. Was it a mistake to have Randy Orton turn face after he first won the world title, as opposed to Hunter being kicked out of Evolution by Orton, a la The Rock with Farouk in the Nation? If so, why do you think WWE didn't do it? Well, of course, it was a bad idea in hindsight, but at the time, Randy Orton, at SummerSlam, he got a huge reaction when he came out and won the title, so it looked like that there was that momentum of him becoming a babyface and being a top champion as the good guy. But it just didn't work out that way. Once the trigger was pulled, the fans didn't really react that much to Orton as a babyface, so he was quickly turned back heel, and yeah, that was the best move, to keep him as a heel for a while, and only recently he went back to being a face, but now he's so popular and he's developed his character so well that he can be a babyface. But yeah, at the time, yeah, it would have been best just to keep him as a heel, but yeah, they did what they did, and you never know. Alright, that about does it for NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. Leave a comment, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. We have Vengeance coming up in 3 weeks, yet another WWE pay-per-view. What are your predictions for Vengeance? What would you like to see as the main event? What do you expect to happen? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Keep subscribing. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Tell a friend. Tell anybody you know that watches wrestling. Have them check out the show. And with that, we will see you next time for NoDQ&A video.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Here we go again!
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
We are here with a milestone at Boy Rants at Casa D18 Studios. This is episode number 40. Woohoo! 40, baby. I'm 40. No, actually, I'm turning 35, but the show is 40 episodes strong. Thank you to all my fans for watching. Thank you for following me on Twitter at LBStatKid1977. Thanks for joining my Boy Rants page where I'm at 96 likes. I need 4 more for 100. And thank you for sending me messages on Facebook. But here's my problem with that. If you're going to send me a Facebook and you just say what's up and I say what's up, start the conversation, because I don't want to have dead airspace on Facebook. I got somebody out there on Facebook. You know who you are. You send me what's up, Mike. I say what's up. And then dead silence. Talk to me. You know who you are. Anyway, plenty to talk about. Lots of things. Going to start off with your Raw report, featuring John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar came out to open Raw, and he basically started to do his opening speech, or his welcome back speech, and of course he took out the chapstick and started kissing John Laurinaitis' ass. The shocking thing that got me the most was that Michael Cole actually acknowledged the UFC, which I kind of thought was a little bit of taboo. I mean, because usually, you know, real stuff in the world that wrestlers do usually don't get mentioned. For example, going to other promotions, or, you know, getting arrested, or, you know, wellness violations, or stuff like that. That's stuff they usually don't talk about. But of course, Michael Cole gave us the history lesson, and he mentioned UFC, and I'm guessing, so now Dana says, you know, Brock is doing his thing. He comes out, he starts his speech. John Cena interrupts, which was well understood because of what happened the week before when Brock gave Cena the F5. And let me quickly touch on that. If you're up there on his shoulders, you know, I'd be kicking and screaming and trying to get the hell out of there. John just sat there. Now, if he was still beat up a little bit because of what happened at Mania with The Rock and he was just dead to the world, okay. Or if he was just selling it like he was supposed to, okay. But if I'm on the shoulders of a 280-pound giant, I'm going to try and get the hell out of there. Big mistake. Cena comes out, and you can see his lips. He tells Brock, I forgot to thank you last week. He walks right up to the Beast, slaps him dead in the face. Big mistake. Brock uses a double leg takedown and starts beating on him like he's in the octagon. Cena gets busted open, legit. No blading here. The whole locker room empties out. It's a full-scale riot, four horsemen style. You know, I guess these two don't like each other. And, you know, Brock tries to jump over everybody blocking Cena. Cena tries to jump over Brock. You know, all hell is breaking loose. We go to the back. John Laurinaitis is berating Teddy Long. This is all your... This is all your fault, Teddy. You're supposed to keep John Cena in check, and you didn't do it. Why didn't you do that? And here's David Otunga with the... Lose the coffee gimmick, David. Really? I mean, come on. I'm sick and tired of seeing... If there's one around here, I'm tired of seeing the coffee cup. It's so stupid. Okay? We get it. You know, coffee can be cool. I don't drink coffee, but coffee can be cool. This is boring. Okay? This is David Otunga. I went to Harvard Law School. I'm going to sue you. I've got the physique of a Greek god. I'm also in the shadow of my wife, Jennifer Hudson. Either stop kissing Laurinaitis' ass, get in the ring, and make a name for yourself, for God's sakes. Anyway, Cena comes back, lip out to here, you know, and he says he's just ready to go. He wants to go, so and of course he fights Otunga. Stupid! I didn't even see the match, and I don't even care what happened. Renegade, what happened with Cena and Otunga? See? Even Renegade doesn't care. Well, he's thinking about it, but...
I honestly don't remember.
See? It was that bad, nobody remembered. But we have Cena and Brock at Extreme Rules. Which, let's face it, ain't going to be that extreme anyway, because, you know, I think Brock's going to revert to his UFC days and just put a hurting on him. Legit. Oh, off of Twitter, my good buddy 10Daniel30 wants me to address that the Johnny and Teddy storyline, now that it's over and done with WrestleMania, is reminiscent of the whole JBL Shawn Michaels thing. Where, let's face it, Teddy Long is now Johnny Laurinaitis' bitch. Which, sadly, I have to agree with. You know, I'm a little surprised that Teddy is still around. I would have, you know, he can go away like on a vacation with Oksana for a couple weeks. Or maybe even a month, put him in the back, let him do road agent stuff, and then he can like watch Raw and SmackDown spiral out of control, and then let's bring back Triple H and say, you know, let's have another match, and this time winner stays and loser's gone for good. Let's do that. I was also asked, should Teddy and Johnny have a match? No. I'm not denying that John Laurinaitis can maybe still go. I mean, yeah, he had a craptastic match that one time a few weeks back, but I'd be more concerned about Teddy getting hurt. Yeah, Teddy was a referee for a while, and I may have read somewhere that he got sick somehow. So I'd rather, I want, you know, Teddy thugging and bugging and all this, you know, and holla holla, yo, play and all that, and I don't want to see Teddy in the ring. I don't want to see anything happen to him because he's a nice guy, you know. He's one of the he's the OG player. Forget Ice-T. Teddy Long is the new OG player in my opinion. So you know, that's what should happen there. Also on Facebook, I've gotten some questions. Thank you. You guys know who you are. I just didn't write your names down. I apologize. The women's division. The current status of the women's division. There's a women's division? Really? You know? The women's division is just so different. I mean, I like Beth Phoenix as Divas champion. You know? She holds that title with prestige and all that, but honestly, there is nobody around to take it from her yet. But I was corrected earlier. Let's listen to this. Eve is now teaming up with Beth. Eve is doing the whole I can screw Zack Ryder every different way until Tuesday, just not literally. We saw that at WrestleMania, okay? The Bella Twins they're just eye candy now. They get an occasional match once in a while. Alicia Fox, I haven't seen much of her lately. She's not a contender for the belt. The girls with Brodus Clay, they just dance. They're not going to be wrestling anytime soon. So that, Karma's still out. Layla's still out. Michelle is pregnant from what I'm hearing. I still haven't confirmed it, but apparently she's pregnant. Good, should settle down with life with that. That leaves Natalya, who apparently has become face, and they've taken the farting storyline out of the picture. Thank goodness. But that could end up bad because, we've said before on this channel that Natalya is a legitimate wrestler, and for her to lose is a slap in the face to the Hart legacy. So, who's left? Nobody. Which makes Beth can Beth wrestle herself? It'd be it'd be one hell of a match. Beth versus Beth, and Beth wins. Oh, Rosa, we forgot about Rosa. She's doing the thing with Primo and Epico. Shaking her hips every day, and they don't stop for a whole week. I'm distracted by a picture on the computer. Who is that? She's hot. I'll figure it out later. Like I said, Rosa's not going to get into the ring anytime soon, so that, like I said, Beth, number one, at the top, no one can beat her unless they want to... Oh, AJ. Broken up with Daniel Bryan. Oh, Kelly. Let's forget about Kelly. You alright? Yeah. So, there's no women's division. The tag team division, like I say, Primo and Epico, there aren't any more good tag teams around. Kofi and Evan went well, but now Evan's probably done with a foot injury because apparently he snapped his foot in 4 places and needed 5 pins. And putting let's put these two together like they did with, Miz and Truth, or Truth and Kofi and whoever, and Big Show and whatever, and Cody and Zack, and all these people. That doesn't make them an established team. It's like, we're just gonna put you in there, So the tag team division is going straight to hell. We have the Usos; they're legitimate, but you see the outside the ring or whatever that show is, they can cook. They make Samoan barbecue, which looks pretty good. But they're part of a heritage. Give them a title push, Another question I got was why is the WWE title defended in the middle of the show, and wrestlers like Cody Rhodes and Dolph Ziggler are stuck in mid-card hell? That is a very good and legitimate question. If I had a good and legitimate answer, I would... No, just kidding. The main answer is I have no idea what WWE is doing. I remember the days when the title was the main event, no matter what, because it's the title. I mean, you're the top guy. That's like saying let's have the Super Bowl first. Let's have the World Series first. Let's have the NBA playoffs first. Let's go for the Stanley Cup first. WrestleMania proved it with Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds. I mean, you just don't. Sheamus has the belt. What's he going to do with it? Defend it in 20 seconds again next week? I don't think so. I would definitely love to see Cody and Dolph get a better push than they did before. I mean, Cody is a 200-day or 230-day IC champion. Now Big Show's got it. Cody can run like his father did. Cody can run like not like Goldust. I mean, Goldust had plenty of IC champs and a few tag team champs, but he never got the world title. Dusty is a champion, but not WWE. He's more NWA, which has a little more prestige than WWE. Let's face it. If there was no NWA, there would be no WWE. So, and look at all the matches Dusty had with Flair. I mean, so, you know, Cody, I think Cody can hold the title. Give him a push for it. Dolph, on the other hand, yeah, he's doing this whole thing with Jack and Vicky, but I mean, and like I say, he needs to do better than a one-day title run. There's no doubt about that. If he would have held the belt a little bit longer, it would have been an established title run. So they definitely need to really consider them. Also, I received a note on who I would want to see Taker fight at WrestleMania 29 if he goes. And as I said, there were only 2 people, and then I caught 3, and then I caught 4. The 4 being Punk, Brock, Rock, and Punk. But unfortunately, I want Cena to do it. Not necessarily break the streak, because let's face it, the streak will never die. And if it does, you're going to lose a whole bunch of wrestling fans. Because let's face it, all 4 men, Cena, Punk, Brock, and Rock, they're not the young generation that much. Cena is in his mid to late 30s. Rock is about to turn 40. Brock, I think, is in his late 30s. I think Punk is in his late 30s. They're not the younger generation. They're the middle generation. The younger generation, of course, is your Codys, your Kofis, your Usos. AJ's a baby, so, you know, Daniel Bryan's in there somewhere. He's younger. Who else is younger that I can throw out?
Wade Barrett,
Wade
Drew
Barrett,
McIntyre.
Wade and Drew, they're still young. They're the new generation. Are they going to go out and beat Taker at Mania? No. Because the streak is never going to die. But regardless of if you like those 4 gentlemen or not, they will still put on a good match. That's what I want to see at WrestleMania. I want to see a damn good match with top name talent. That's why I want to see Cena. And if the same thing happens like it did this year, if Cena loses, which let's face it, he probably will, he'll probably do the whole woe is me bit, and then here comes the next guy. Okay? Okay. So, that was a good little rant there. Now let's get off of the wrestling and let's bring in the baseball, hence the Angel gear. Angels, what are you doing to me here? You just got done with a series with Kansas City. You had a 6-0 lead. You blew it. Not cool. If you're following me on my Statboy Rant page, what I'm doing basically is I've stolen what the hockey media does. They name their 3 stars or their 3 top players. What I'm doing, I'm taking the 3 top Angels. I'm ranking them 1, 2, 3 point system. Whoever does the best is the best Angel. Of course, the ultimate goal, I want to see the Angels go to the World Series. Right now, Albert Pujols is not doing his job. Yeah, he's getting hits once in a while, but he's not producing. In my ranking system, I think I've got him 7th or 8th out of 14 players. He's right in the middle. Now, I'm pretty certain somebody's going to say, well, the season is too new. Yes, I get that. The Angels season is only 6 games strong. But you got to remember, he went from a championship team, the St. Louis Cardinals. He got the World Series ring. That tells me that he should produce. This team right here, St. Louis Cardinals, okay? Remember that. St. Louis Cardinals to Anaheim. Thank you, Renegade. So that means he should produce. I mean, if you take somebody in wrestling who is in a promotion, I'm just going to use a name, AJ Styles. He was one of the best in TNA. He probably still is. If he comes to WWE, I would expect him to win his matches. Not job out, not lose. I want to see him win because he's done something proper. But this guy is more of a media whore than anything. If you go to Angel Stadium, you're going to see Albert Pujols' picture right there. He's everywhere. He is a media frenzy, okay? April 17th at Angel Stadium is Albert Pujols bobblehead night. Did they have bobbleheads in St. Louis? Probably, but guess what? The media is going to make a big thing of this because he's Albert Pujols. you know? I mean, $240 million, you should produce at least a hit or multiple RBIs 3 times a week. I'm not asking for much. I'm giving him 2 seasons, you know? By the 3rd season, if the Angels haven't won a playoff or made a playoff appearance, then Artie Moreno is screwing everything up. Moving on to hockey. The NHL playoffs are upon us. The Kings are in, thank goodness. They are the 8th seed and they are playing against Vancouver. On Wednesday night, which the playoffs started, they won a tough game, 4-2. Congratulations to the Kings. You're up 1-0. And also, the Flyers and the Penguins went to overtime. The Flyers are up 1-0 in that series. The Red Wings and the Predators won game 1. You know, I will go on camera and say that the Red Wings are a dominant team. Do I want to see them win? No. I'm anti-Detroit. Because I'm tired of having Detroit thrown in my face. Be it the Tigers or be it the Red Wings. Okay? Slap shot. Go! So, good rant for episode 40, I would say. You know, keep those comments coming. Follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you to my brother, the Renegade, for doing all the stats stuff on Twitter. And if you listen to King's Talk, excuse me, he won Popcornopolis with a little help from Casa D18. So, you know, I got on the show at the end of the season 2. So basically, what they do, they just let you call in. You can ask questions. They do giveaways, and you win popcorn buckets from Popcornopolis. Apparently, Popcornopolis is a confectionery place. It's out by Universal City Walk, and they just make the craziest popcorns. I think they have like a cinnamon popcorn, a caramel popcorn, a cheese popcorn. You know, so check them out.
Zebra, honey barbecue, standard caramel corn.
Honey barbecue popcorn? That sounds interesting. I gotta try that. And also, in Casa D18, we've found a website called Sporcle.com. Sporcle. It's a lot of fun. It's basically quizzes. You know, Renegade and I have put a couple out there, so look for us there. He uses his Twitter name. I use LB Kid as mine. And it can be like anything: TV shows, wrestling, geography, entertainment, sports, literature, history, religion. And we just sit around here and we just, you know, kind of like Jeopardy almost. You know, they give you a clue, you put the answer. It's very addicting. It's a lot of fun. So check out Sporcle.com. They're getting a plug because of me. Let's see those comments. Follow us Facebook and Twitter. 40 episodes strong. We got 40 to go. Thank you all for watching. See you next week. Statboy out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lube. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
This is James Morgan, NWA and Mach 1 Wrestling Superstar.
This is Chris Masters, the Masterpiece.
This is Downtown Bruno.
This is Eric Watts from WWE Tough Enough.
Mikey Nova.
Hey, what's up? This your boy, Sean Black.
This is Jess Bella from Santino Brothers.
Gorgeous Joey Chaos.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, and you are watching Dads on Wrestling. The Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
Dads on Wrestling.
On YouTube.
Week on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Now stay tuned or you will feel the bang!
Welcome everyone to Dads on Wrestling.
Is this actually rolling?
This is actually rolling.
Is this actually rolling?
This is actually happening.
Okay,
we are sitting here.
I want to make sure because I want to make sure that the pipe bomb that's about to explode is well known. If y'all out there do not like the views and opinions that are usually expressed on this channel, I'm going to give you a disclaimer right now. Stop this video.
Stop the video. Stop the presses. Go change your panties. Sit down and enjoy the fucking ride otherwise. Alright. I'm gonna let you start.
I do just want to say before we get further rolling, this is probably the only comedy that's going to be in this entire episode.
Probably.
This episode is #StatBoy approved.
Jesus Christ. Why do you make me smile? Why do you make me smile when I'm pissed off? This is... Oh, God. Okay. What did I say on RSI? What did I say on RSI? I look forward... I did say a lot on RSI. Not as bad as I did the first episode, but I did say a lot on RSI.
Okay.
But...
So you're laughing. This is a good thing.
It's good. It's good because I'm calming down just a snitch. I said on RSI that this is my favorite pay-per-view besides WrestleMania. And even more, usually it's more.
Yes, because
every championships are on the line. Okay, but the thing is, for championships to be on the line, there has to be an indication that the belt will change hands.
This is true.
And the belt that should have changed hands did, and the belt that shouldn't have changed hands did also.
Which one of the belts that shouldn't have changed hands? We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, let's start at the beginning. The tag team titles, the Awesome Truth
should have changed hands
versus Air Boom, and the Awesome Truth got screwed via Piece of shit.
And
way to bring prestige back to the tag straps there, WWE.
Let me ask the general public, and I'm not talking to the damn C Nation, because C Nation is smart enough not to watch this goddamn show. I'm talking to the real fans. When in the goddamn hell did the referees start allowing a tag to go down when they don't fucking see it? When did this happen?
I've been seeing it for a minute.
And to be fair, the babyface team got allowed to do that, but the heel team didn't get away with it. There is a CON goddamn conspiracy.
Thank you.
Truth, trust me, I am not like this truth gimmick, okay? I am not like the fact you turn Ron into some comedic fodder for the rest of the company, okay? But Miz and Truth have been awesome Truth. They have been great as a team together, and by all rights and privileges granted, Kofi and Evan won it 20 days, whatever it was. They should be the goddamn tag champions right now. And because of an idiot referee, what is it with referees lately? Was that referee's name Timmy like Battleground?
I don't know.
We need to find out. There needs to be a referee inquiry whether this guy's name is Jimmy or Timmy.
Or if his last name is Hebner.
Seriously, was this like Hebner's little like offshoot nephew or some shit? Because all the other Hebners work for TNA. They got some sense. They got away from Vince McMahon. Oh, sorry, Triple H.
They got fired for being stupid.
The senior ones did. That's true. Yeah, Junior Hebner just got lost in the shuffle because his dad was a fuck up.
Okay, IC title match.
FUC Cup. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
IC title match. Cody Rhodes retained against Ted DiBiase, and did I not tell you Ted was not ready to be champion? This is one of the few ones I was happy with the outcome of.
Did I not say on RSI that Ted was ready, just not tonight?
Valid point.
Ted's ready.
I think you said to wait to Hell in a Cell.
Wait to Hell in a Cell.
Which is 2 weeks away. What the fuck? 2 weeks away.
God damn it! Hashtag Top Gun approved. Okay, anyway, probably not approved. John's probably going, Jesus Christ.
and then we got a Christian promo in the middle of the pay-per-view. And I actually tweeted. Where is it out here?
It's on there somewhere, I'm sure.
At WWE, wondering why we wasted time with a promo. I thought I was paying $50 to watch hashtag WWE NOC, not hashtag Raw or hashtag SmackDown.
Sure.
That promo could have been saved for the Super Show tomorrow night.
Hashtag We Want Wrestling.
Yeah. Not talking.
NWA.
Not talking. Although I do think I even tweeted that Christian versus Orton should get Hell in a Cell. After that, there's no excuses.
However, because
wasn't their last match a cage match?
Yeah, because Christian getting a world title shot's not a real possibility anymore. At least, unless, no, because he's not going to. We'll get into that. Then there was the first travesty of justice in her hometown when her football team wins today. Were the Bills in Buffalo, or did they win it away? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Even if the Bills won away, that's fucking epic that the Bills are winning. And Beth Phoenix has the job in her hometown.
And I said this after the match. Kelly was crying, walking up the entranceway, holding her belt in the air. Beth Phoenix was in the ring crying too. Beth Phoenix was crying for the right reasons. She was crying because she got fucked in the ass with no lube by that fucking Barbie doll stick with olives on her bitch named Kelly. Kelly was crying because she shouldn't have fucking won the match.
I will agree that Kelly should not be the Divas champion. I will agree that Beth Phoenix should be the women's champion. Sorry, my bad.
Careful, that belt doesn't exist anymore.
I don't give a fuck. The butterfly belt should be thrown off our balcony, jumped on by one of our cats, and pissed on by one of the cats.
Yeah.
Seriously. And resurrect the belt that we brought to Frankenstein yesterday, and Melina was like, damn, I missed that belt. Beth Phoenix said she missed that belt at SummerSlam. The real belt.
She missed it when I got a picture with her like a year and a half ago.
Seriously.
But now she's at home sitting on a couch getting paid to not work.
Kelly, regardless of whether she is a nice person, I am assuming, because you've met her, I haven't met her, she's probably a very sweet girl, in my experience of hearing about her. I'm sure she's a doll, but you know what? The Bellas are super nice too. They can be bitches in the ring and still pull off being nice outside of the ring. The difference is, we all knew the Bellas weren't going to remain champion.
Yes.
It was going to be a matter of time before Natalya, Beth, at the time Gail, or at the time Melina would get the belt back. And where are we sitting now, ladies and germs? After Night of Champions, 2 of them that deserve it aren't champion, and 2 of them, one's sitting at home getting a paycheck and not doing shit, and one is going to Frankensons telling her fans how much she misses her. Misses everybody. Appearing with the best guy in wrestling, Mick Foley.
Now, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, Jeff. We bypassed...
I'm sorry, what did I skip?
We bypassed the United States Championship match.
Which I picked right, so I'm actually happy about that.
I'm a little bit pissed because Jack Swagger got screwed. Jack Swagger totally had that match won, and Dolph Ziggler, being the crafty heel that he is, just managed to take opportunity of it. Jack Swagger got screwed too. And we bypassed the World Heavyweight Championship, which was put on the back burner for that fucking Divas Championship match. It couldn't even be semi-main event or third one down.
I was actually trying to go in order of importance of championships because that's just how I felt. And because I was trying to give Mark Henry a proper build, because Mark Henry deserves a proper build, because you and I on this channel were absolutely fucking right. And Mark Henry stands atop the world of SmackDown, the SmackDown Kingdom, if you want to call it that, like Booker did, as the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, granted, it may only be for 2 days. If WWE's booking continues to go the same, it will be for only 2 days.
Right.
I'm sorry, 6, 5, whatever the hell Christian thought.
Teddy Long will come out on SmackDown on Tuesday when they tape, ask the crowd if they want to see Mark Henry versus Randy Orton again, and Randy Orton, the Super Viper, will get the goddamn strap back.
Yep.
Seen it all before. Seen it all before. Seen it all before.
Yep. But I apologize for skipping over Mark Henry because he deserves his moment in the sun. Tyler's sitting out there in the front room right now with my WCW belt over his shoulder, just soaking it in. Because for a moment there, and I got accused of being racist on our side the other day.
Yes, you did, which was funny.
Which was funny as hell, because I'm the most non-racist guy I know of any white guy I know, seriously. But let me just try to skate over this as carefully as I can. For a few moments, we had 2 minorities.
Yeah. As
the WWE World Champion. And we have a dead phone in the process. But we had Alberto Del Rio, and we had Mark Henry. Until the end of a glorious month.
Yeah.
Because we all thought that the destiny had been achieved, and it would continue to stay as such. But no.
Nope.
We have to have God-damned motherfucking son of a bitchin' Super Cena on the goddamn top of the mountain. And I'm sorry if this pisses certain people off, and they know who they are, they're getting pissed off, or getting upset at me for calling John Cena's reigns as champion goddamned, or motherfucking, or son of bitching. You know what? Done with it. Punk should have stayed champion a month ago. But I gave Alberto a chance. Because I believed that him and Chewie could stay atop the mountain. And then Cena goes, commits Grand Theft Auto, steals a man's Ferrari,
and gets cheered for it.
Which makes Buffalo backwards. I gave Buffalo a break for minutes being Beth Phoenix hometown, but they're fucking idiots too.
If Alberto had done that, that would have been profiling.
And profiling is wrong. But when a white guy steals Mexican's cars, no problem with it.
Exactly.
God damn it. John Cena's the champion. And then
I have a tasty beverage.
I wish I had mine, man. I got a gun on my phone about to blow my damn brains out for this last match because I picked him to win. I picked Hunter to win because I wanted the storyline to continue.
Yeah.
But it came at the price of seeing Miz and Truth interfere on both guys, which Miz and Truth want Hunter gone.
But they're attacking
But they're attacking CM Punk too. That just shows the Awesome Truth is kind of dead. So, you know what? Fuck you guys. You lost the belt, that's your problem.
To steal a phrase from our resident cameraman, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot?
Serious. I saw that. Where did I see? Somebody tweeted that the other day. Somebody tweeted that. It was one of our girls. Allison Danger was tweeting a tweet about something, and she said, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I'm like, damn, I gotta show it to Aaron. I gotta show it to Aaron. Now I can't find the tweet because I think she deleted it. Anyway.
Damn you, Allison.
Damn you, Allison. That's why you're not the champion. That's why Winter's the champion. Oh, too soon?
Not too soon.
No,
not too soon.
To be fair, I have no booking power whatsoever. I'm just the media relations guy. I have no booking power, so I have nothing.
But anyway, Triple H, CM Punk debuting his brand new ice cream bar T-shirt.
And big props. I don't care if WWE sold or not to Gary Yap. I don't give Gary a lot of credit anymore because it's not the cool thing to do anymore. But Gary Yap drew a hell of an ice cream bar, and I'm not going to show it on here because it'll look like shit. But I'll put the link up on my Twitter tonight. You guys can see this thing for yourself if you haven't already seen it. Gary drew a hell of an ice cream bar picture for CM Punk, and 2 days later, Punk shows up on the pay-per-view with an ice cream bar shirt. I'm just throwing it out there. So, whether WWE had it that works or not, Gary's was better.
I think WWE may have seen the guy on eBay that was selling the We Want Ice Cream T-shirts and been like, there's a market here.
And aren't you glad we didn't buy that one now? Because that one did look good.
No, because I still want that one. Two of my friends, Amber Red and her brother Eric, bought those motherfucking things on eBay because I posted the link on Facebook, sharing it to the world. They each bought one and now have one, and I don't have the original.
Hashtag that's fail.
Yes.
We got 2 minutes, I guess. Okay.
So overall,
so Punk gets interfered by Miz and Truth, and then Nash comes in and attacks them both.
Well, first you forgot Johnny Douche.
Johnny Ass
had to bring himself down, texting Kevin Nash as he's got his back to the ring.
Don't think we didn't see that, Johnny. And I know it's storyline. We're supposed to think you're an asshole, but you really are an asshole.
Yeah, you had a shiner a couple months ago to prove that. Courtesy of the same guy we just talked shit on a few minutes ago.
That's the only time I've liked him in the last few months, is when he punched Johnny H right in his fucking little face.
But you know what? Time is running out. Overall, this pay-per-view fucking blew. I don't care if the stockholders like me saying it. I don't care if the fans don't like me saying it. I don't care if the WWE universe or the suits don't like me saying it. This pay-per-view fucking blew donkey balls. And I even fucking tweeted, I want my $50 goddamn dollars back.
Hell in a Cell better fucking deliver.
See you next time on Dad's on Wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, and we are back finally with another NoDQ review, number 40, the big 4-0, and I am joined by Big G wearing a Virtues Rage shirt, TJS wearing a Penn Sen shirt, and Aaron Rift wearing an Elvis Costello shirt.
Right.
What's up, everybody? I'll start with the boss man, Aaron. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I was actually at an Elvis Costello concert on Monday because, as you guys know, I did, in fact, boycott Raw. I did go back and watch a few of the YouTube clips, so I'm a little up to speed on Monday Night Raw, but it doesn't appear that I missed very much based off of what went down and the feedback to the show. Now, I'm sure we will be talking about Monday Night Raw and the state of WWE right now. We have plenty of things to talk about. This is going to be a really fun video. I'm ready to go.
All right, TJS, what's up? And do you know at the end of the day today, the WWE stock is almost back up to $76 during this time of horrible television?
Man, it just really tells you that ratings don't matter in today's age. You see that stock, and Vince McMahon does not care. This guy, he's showering in money. Like I say, man, he's just rolling around it. He's laughing at us. He's laughing at us. How are you, Big G?
I'm doing great. I also skipped Monday Night Raw. I had date night this past Monday, watching Christmas movies, all snuggled up, and and Raw is gonna be Raw as long as we know it. So,
well, let's talk about the first topic. And how did everyone's Raw boycott go? Or did anybody secretly watch it? Aaron, you mentioned that you watched some clips or whatnot. I, of course, watched it. Who else in the NoDQ Galaxy watched it? Aaron, Caitlin said she watched it, right?
Yes, she did.
Okay. So, it was what it was. I mean, that's my routine on Monday night. So I always have my Nintendo Switch or something so I can focus on that if something's bad. Big G, let's start with you. How did you boycott Raw, and did you catch up on it? Obviously, I know the answer, but tell everybody.
well, like I said, I had date night. I was watching Christmas movies with my girlfriend, and the day after, I did watch the YouTube clips. So I caught a little bit, Dean Ambrose's segment with the siren, which I thought was pretty cool. He came out looking like Bane. Then he took off his mask, and he looked like a 70s porn star with the necklace and that jacket of his. And it is what it is. And what else did I see? I think that and crap. What else? I see. That's how bad I can't remember the clips. That's how bad it was.
All right. So I saw people shaking their heads. I, for one, love the Dean Ambrose segment. Cheesy, over the top. Everybody's like, because you are conditioned to hate WWE, but yet you say you're not going to watch it for what? 1 week? 1 night? Now, granted, creative's horrible, right? The reason why I suffer through it is because there are little things that I do find eventually that I like. Why did I like the Ambrose thing? Simple. Not the gas mask, although I thought that was cool. The air raid siren. I don't know what it was about that. I looked at that and I'm like, man, if we had real creative writers, that segment could have been awesome. See, I see potential. That's what it is. TGS, so how did you boycott Raw?
I played Red Dead Redemption 2. I watched the YouTube clips, and it's really bad because each clip was no longer than 5 minutes, and I felt myself skipping forward through some of these clips because I was just I just couldn't handle it. I was like, the match clips especially, I was like, oh, there's still 3 minutes of this. I don't want to watch this. It's terrible.
Right.
It's awful. But I can't stay away from it. That's the problem. I can't stop watching WWE. And
it's like a bad addiction.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people do this? Big G and you, TJS, just said you watch YouTube clips. Is that where the ratings are going? People are just doing that because it's so much quicker?
I think so.
I think so. It's hard to say because I do watch Raw, and then the next day, if I did like something from Raw, then I'll go back to the YouTube clips and watch it again. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And then on YouTube, they also have the top 10 moments for Raw and SmackDown, like the biggest things that happened. And I watched that too, just to see, what they thought were the best 10 moments of Monday Night Raw. But you do have some people who don't watch Raw who just solely just watch the YouTube clips.
Yeah. You never realize how long 3 hours is until you don't watch Raw.
Right.
I know Aaron was at a concert, but I was just sitting there constantly checking the clock, like, is Raw over? Is Raw over? Is Raw over? Is Raw over? And it just felt so long to not be watching. Like, it's crazy to me. Just, I don't know. I watched the clips and I felt satisfied with that. I felt no need to watch the full thing. I could not subject myself to such torture.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, what's funny is I was watching it and I felt like I was still wasting my time watching those YouTube clips. And
yeah.
My impression from those clips watching it, first of all, it felt like that crowd was completely dead for the show. Like, they barely reacted to anything, it seems. Like, you would think WWE would at least try to sweeten up the crowd noise a little bit.
Weren't there a lot of empty seats in Raw that they couldn't cover up?
They drew about 6,000 people in Houston, Texas, which is, like the fourth biggest city in the country and one of WWE's bigger markets. So, yeah, not too good.
Well, Aaron, so you boycotted it by what? Going to a concert?
Yeah. I sure
How
did.
many people were at that concert? More than Raw?
About 4,000.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, well, so I watched it. You guys didn't. I don't feel any dumber, but, and I'm not going over there and praising the whole show. There was a lot of bad on the show, as always, but I think I continue to do the grind just for those few little things that I can remember. I don't know. But I guess watching it live, do we really watch it live, though? Because, even if you're watching it live, isn't it like a 60 or 90-second delay?
You know what really hurts Raw is it's the commercials that really take me out.
Thank you.
And the announce team.
If you just watch it on mute with no commercials, I think it wouldn't be that bad. Seriously, though, like, when the TV matches are happening, like, I heard that Drew McIntyre versus Dolph was pretty good, but it had like 3 commercial breaks, right? It just takes me out of it when there's a commercial. And even SmackDown does the thing where they just do the side commercial, but it still takes me out because there's no sound. It just ruins it for me.
Well, the thing is, like, the commercials kind of take you out of the moment. So if you want to get invested in a longer match, and that's the problem with doing long TV matches, in my opinion, I think the Vince Russo format of sticking to short matches on TV and building up storylines and developing the characters, I thought that worked way better with that period when they would have a short match, commercial, and then you would do another segment when you came back and you had a better flow, because if there's a long match, you're having to get invested in that, and when there's commercial breaks, that kind of takes you out of the moment. So I think Vince Russo's formula is better when it comes to television, and I really do feel that for the most part, the TV matches should be short. Spend that time building up your characters and developing storylines.
Make the pay-per-views seem worth watching. Let's watch the match now. Yeah.
The problem is that with a 3-hour show, WWE has just gone in this lazy pattern of doing these long matches just to fill time. They have 2 guys go out there, do a promo. The promo turns into a match. Match has 2 or 3 commercial breaks. Before you know it, first 45 minutes, it's just built around a couple of people. I liked, I sound like an old man here, but back in my day, I liked it when we had a lot of different things happening and you wouldn't see too much of one person, in 30, 40 minutes of the show. You maybe could see them for a few minutes here, maybe a few minutes later on, and then you would see other people and different things happening. So to me, that's a major problem with Raw right now, is that it's just not very intriguing as a viewer, and there's really no need to tune in live, and if you miss it, you really don't miss much.
It's like watching a house show from home on your couch.
At least.
With lame promos.
Yeah, at least be strategic with the commercial breaks. Like, Aaron, do you remember in Breaking Bad where Walt had Crazy 8 tied up with the bike lock in the basement, and
Yes.
then he goes to make him the sandwich and passes out. AMC did not put a commercial between Walt making the sandwich and then passing out, only to wake up with or to come back with Crazy 8 dead. They strategically placed the commercial, so nothing major happened.
Yep.
I could just go on and on.
Well, see, I actually don't mind if every once in a while, like, you had something like a match end during the commercial break, just because, let's say, WWE is real, right? It would add a little bit more realism to it. You know, if it was real life, a match theoretically could end during a commercial break. So I would not actually mind that if they did it every now and then, just to shake things up a little bit and condition people to think that anything can happen. You know, condition them so, you know, if the commercial comes, you know, you might miss the end of the match, you know, so you got to stay tuned, you know.
Or Raw ends at like 10:47, and then they got to show backstage promos or whatever for the last 12 minutes because, well, our event's done, and then let's get some fallout now. You know what I mean? Not all the time, but nope, it ends at exactly 11 o'clock now. But for kids, they don't know any better, right? Let's face it. We know the average age of a wrestling fan, viewers, in the 40s now, but I think WWE writes to 7 to 12-year-olds.
They do.
So, all right, the ratings. Big G was really grinding hard on this. So the stock's up to 75. Now, we were looking at, I was looking at Raw ratings. Big G also has SmackDown ratings. Obviously, when Raw goes down, it seems like SmackDown goes down. But SmackDown's the better show.
Hey,
so do people...
Real quick. So the reason the stock's high is because... Think about it. You're going to invest money in a company. You want to invest in a company that has that cash. And WWE, they got that cash from Saudi Arabia. That is a lot of change right there. So, yeah, I would invest too. I want a piece of that Saudi Arabia money. And who cares about morals? It's all about money.
There's no marks anymore. They don't go for casual fans. They figure the hardcore fans are still going to stay, even if some claim to boycott. The marks now are the big countries that have a lot of money that want stadium events.
Yep.
And the TV networks. That's WWE's looking at them. Those are the people with the chalk outlines on their back from the carnies. Some people know what I'm talking about there. But the viewership for Raw. So we were looking, the peaks of the Raw ratings this year, when they were 3 million or higher, was around the big events. Royal Rumble. Now, obviously, Big G, we had the Raw 25 before the Royal Rumble, highest rating of the year, right over 4 million, a little bit. All right, so then around Mania, Raw was over 3 million. Yeah. Even Money in the Bank, there was a Raw right around 3 million, and SummerSlam. Now, after SummerSlam, and after any of the major events, during the crap months where they just seem like they don't care for these other pay-per-views, the ratings slide. Right. Not even, you can't even say, well, Roman's a champ. After SummerSlam, the ratings slid when he won the Universal title. They started going up a little bit, right, mid-October, because we're getting closer to Survivor Series season. He's out now. Survivor Series Raw couldn't even get to 3 million like the other big four. The other big. It was about 2.5. That's alarming. That's where we're at. So what's everyone's thoughts with the Raw and SmackDown viewership? And, of course, SmackDown's been tanking too, but it's the better show. Is it really a good show, or is it just looking like it's good because Raw's so bad? And is the bar that low? And I'm not talking about the tag champs. TJS, your opinion?
It's hard to say. Sometimes I feel like SmackDown's great. Sometimes I feel like Raw was terrible, so that makes SmackDown good by default. And sometimes I feel like both shows were just awful. And I think that ratings just matter less and less now because WWE has almost 40 million YouTube subscribers, and we know that that's monetized. We know that WWE has revenue coming in from that. They've got WWE Music. You know, they have Spotify, iTunes, WWE Network. They sell the video games. They've just got so many channels of revenue that they have coming in that I don't think that live TV really matters as much as it did, you know, in the old days, because people have DVR now. People can catch the YouTube clips. People tweet out GIFs now. You know, you can just watch the GIF if you don't want to watch the whole show. There's highlight videos on YouTube. There's just so many different ways that you can watch it.
Now, TJS, to add to your point, so you know how the ratings are 2.2, 2.3 million, very low for Raw? That's just a domestic figure, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
That doesn't count the people that are interested in WWE across the country or the world now, which is, let's face it, back when they were drawing Attitude Era numbers, they were global, but not like they are today, and they're making money from every little nook and cranny over the globe. So
that's a great point.
Yeah, you know.
There's even those little third-party websites now that post Raw and SmackDown illegally, and people stream it there, and that doesn't count towards the overall viewership. So you really got to think about all the avenues that people catch the product.
Right.
I mean, and the average person doesn't want to sit down for 3 hours and watch a mediocre product. So.
Absolutely. You know, I think
Aaron, what's your thoughts on all these ratings and the decline? And is there any light at the end of the tunnel here?
Well, I would hope so, but I'm not going to bet my life on it. Let's just put it that way. Like TGS said, like the 3 hours is really what kills Raw, first of all. And I've never really been a fan of the 3-hour Raws going back to when they started, just because I remember Nitro, and when Nitro went to 3 hours, I thought that was overkill. I was never a fan of Nitro going to 3 hours. It was just too long, and eventually they did go back to 2 hours. However, they lost that third hour of advertising revenue, which helped their decline even faster. I think that the bad writing makes the 3 hours even more dreadful to sit through, but like TGS said, and like you said, Virtue, worldwide, WWE has perhaps more fans than ever, and there's also the fans that are disgruntled but still continue to support it and hope that it's going to get better.
Yep.
It's kind of scary, though, these numbers, you know. TNA, their peak was 2 million, and now WWE's creeping close to 2 million. SmackDown's even lower. SmackDown went under 2 million this week. Now, why is that? Is it because of AJ Styles? Is it because of Daniel Bryan? I would say it's just the fact that, number one, SmackDown has historically been seen as the B show. No matter how good it is, it's still booked that way.
And Survivor Series didn't help the matters.
Bingo. Yeah. That WWE has conditioned the audience to believe that SmackDown is inferior to Raw. So that's the big problem right there. And they haven't really done much in recent years to reverse that. I mean, for that brief period, SmackDown was on a bit of a roll, but let's face it, the real stars are on Raw, and WWE has conditioned fans to believe that for years. So that's the problem too. You know, I don't think it really has anything to do with AJ or Bryan or the quality of SmackDown. SmackDown is usually a better show, but at the same time, it's also a 2-hour show, and I think that just makes the show better in that sense because it moves at a faster pace and there's less overall filler. But Big G, anything you would like to add to all this regarding why the numbers are down? And you did do some research.
And Big G, I'm going to ask you this question before you start. Has SmackDown ever beat Raw in the ratings? Don't answer that right yet. And think of the Transformers movies or the Michael Bay movies. They don't sell necessarily that well in the United States, right? Some of them considered bombs over here. But you know what? They sell in China. They sell across the world. And those type of movies remind me of today's WWE product. Big G, take it away.
Well, looking from the numbers that I have in front of me, from the beginning of the year, January 15th, all the way till April 30th, Raw has had over 3 million viewers. So for some reason, at the beginning of the year, it seems like a lot of people watch it. And then
Mania season.
Huh?
Mania season, right?
There you go. And after that, it just declines. And then, like you said, the night after SummerSlam, and it went back to 3 million. It dropped back down until October 1st. No. And then it dropped back down to 2 million. And it looks like SmackDown has never beaten Raw. SmackDown's highest rating was on April 10th, which had 2,952,000 viewers. And its lowest, which was this past week, was 1,948,000 viewers. So
it's crazy. Remember the Attitude Era drew, 5 million each show?
Oh yeah,
it's
more than that. Yeah, I think there were some weeks where they did like 12 million combined between Raw and Nitro.
And that didn't count overlap. Their system eliminated overlap because you know what I mean. Like some people watched both, but there was legit 10 million wrestling fans back then.
Yeah. Well,
and then there's another thing. I want to go back to your stock thing. You said it's going back up to what, $74?
Yeah, it was in the high 60s, and then this week it's just went back up.
In 2 years, I don't know if it's going to count, but when the XFL comes, is that going towards the WWE stock, or is that a different entity?
Probably under the WWE bubble, entertainment.
Okay, so do you think when Vince is putting all his focus on the XFL, do you think he'll have less, not creative, but less, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Control over Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll divert it over more to Triple H and Stephanie? Who knows? Probably not. You know, but I mean, it's wishful thinking, Big G. I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, because he's putting millions of dollars into the XFL again. They already announced the 8 cities that they're going to be in. So I think he's going to be a lot more serious than it was the last time. And I think he's going to put more focus into it. And then, you don't think so, TGS?
I don't think so. I think that this is the XFL is secondary to Vince. Vince loves his WWE. He wants to be in control. He's raised the WWE. XFL is just, it's something that
He'll probably have some football people dealing with that.
It's something that he's doing because he's bored, and I mean, you know, he has all the money, so what do you do?
Well, he doesn't like failure either, and the XFL's like that one blemish on his record. Well, that and the WBF, but yeah, that's not coming back. You know, the XFL was a big fail for him, so he wants to correct that, and he insists. You know, he's a stubborn man. He's got to give it another shot. He's got the money, and he's going to try to erase that failure and turn it around and make it a success. So we'll see what happens.
I love what you're saying, though, Big G. It would be great if he would just, you know, maybe step down as chairman of WWE, but I don't see it.
Not even chairman, but just give up some of his control and let the writers do what they get paid for, to write good stories.
I don't know if
the writers get paid to kiss Vince's
to be
ass.
honest with you, Big G. They don't have any.
I think they need to do the Raw creative team or the Raw writing team, whoever does it. They need to go watch a couple episodes of NXT and see how it's done down there. And they say, "Oh, wait, if we can do that, maybe more people will be interested in watching Raw again."
It's wrestling, though.
Two different audience types.
Right.
Yeah, I know it is, but if you do some of that, you can bring some of the NXT fans who really don't watch Raw or SmackDown. Then you can have them watch Raw and SmackDown as well. Then if they made it a little, not exactly like NXT, but just a little bit.
Keep in mind, NXT is a 1-hour show too, so you know.
I know.
But Big G, you're saying something like this, right? We'll do fantasy booking for 1 second here. Let's have a state of the WWE address, right? And have Vince show up on Raw, Stephanie, Triple H, they're all in the ring, maybe even Shane, I don't know. And then at the end of a Raw, too, build it up and have that segment main event Raw. And then have, I don't know where, Triple H kicks Vince and pedigrees him, and then NXT talent comes out and stands on the stage. Just to make like an invasion angle, but again, I don't think Vince thinks NXT's a draw. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's like we said before, he's stuck in his ways. I think I even read once, I can't remember where exactly, if it was on NoDQ, but apparently Vince doesn't watch NXT or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I think Triple H or somebody shot that
baby.
down. No, not Triple H. I think Cody. Cody's the one that shot it down, saying that's BS.
Oh, okay.
Vince still has control over everything. Well, that's ratings, folks, and we're going to have to see what happens because right now, no Roman Reigns. They don't know. Vince is panicking. Vince does not know who he wants to lead his show, right? And Brock's a part-timer, and I thought it was good to put the title back on Brock, but only if he drops it to the next big star. But they're probably not going to utilize him that way to push somebody. You know, remember passing the torch like Andre did to Hogan and stuff like that? They don't do that anymore. Shawn did to Austin, so to speak, and at WrestleMania 14. They just don't do that anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like they don't want any big stars bigger than the WWE, like Cena, like Rock, Austin. They just fear that. They want these
Right.
talents to rely on working for WWE. I mean, even Chris Jericho is bigger than WWE, right? And he never got to the heights of Austin and The Rock,
Right.
but he doesn't need them. He's doing well. Band, New Japan, cruise, books. Speaking of
Absolutely.
Jericho, let's talk about Jericho for a few minutes, just because, we'll lighten the mood, something interesting. There was an incident, right? And it's alleged, it's supposed, tour bus, somebody wanted to get on his tour bus and meet him after a concert. I believe this was in Canada. Correct me if I'm wrong. All I know is Chris Jericho's a 48-year-old rock star. And when I see news like this, the fact that someone got their supposed collarbone broken and then Jericho had to beat somebody up, that's rock star stuff, man. That's Metallica. Aaron, weren't you at a Metallica
Yes,
concert?
last night.
That's AC/DC. That's Ozzy Osbourne. That's creative. That's character. I'm interested in Chris Jericho because it's like he's kicking people's ass in real life. Now I want to watch his work stuff. Why can't wrestling creative see how great something like this is? And I think too, Jericho is missed. People like him are missed in WWE. TJS, what do you think, man? Like when you see news like this, Jericho kicking people's asses, supposedly, does that pops me? Does that not pop you?
Yeah, it makes me feel like the wrestlers are actually tough in real life and not just like sissies, like everyone says.
Like don't F with them, exactly.
There were reports a few years ago of Daniel Bryan chasing this guy on foot that tried to rob his house. He chased him down and choked him out. I just think that kind of thing is cool. So that way, I think Jericho is just awesome, though. Like, overall, I listen to his podcast. He's just a great guy. And like you said, Virtue, it makes him come off as like a badass instead of just like that fake wrestling, like everyone says. It's good stuff. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, I miss Jericho a lot. I feel like his absence is definitely felt, and
his lack of presence.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Thank you. I just feel like the guy is definitely one of the all-time greatest because he knows when to make the most out of his time in WWE and when it's time to step away. And I did read that apparently he's done with the list, so when he does come back to WWE, which he probably will at some point, he's going to not do the list anymore. So he's always trying to reinvent himself and not hold on to one gimmick for too long. We all love the list, but if he just kept doing it, eventually it would lose steam and we would get tired of it. So the guy's really intelligent. He's always reinventing himself and changing things up, and I think all the young guys out there breaking into wrestling, they should study Jericho because he knows how to make the most out of his career and have that longevity as a performer and just know what to do business-wise, He will go to New Japan, he'll go to Ring of Honor, he'll do his band, he'll do his cruise. He'll make himself a hot commodity and not get sucked into that vortex of all these guys that end up in mid-card hell in WWE. Jericho, knows how to make himself a valuable player in WWE. So really intelligent guy and for sure one of the all-time greats. Just how he handles himself and knows how to be a good businessman and keep himself fresh and not get stale. Big G, any thoughts on the whole Jericho situation?
So I did read the article just a little bit ago before we started the video, and apparently it was one of his drummer techs that got his collarbone broken by this guy, and this guy apparently was on meth or something like that and wanted to get on the tour bus, and Jericho, I think he said, speared him and punched him in the face.
Jericho's dad was a hockey player. You don't mess with Chris Jericho. No. You know what I mean?
So, but yes, we all miss Chris Jericho. I miss Chris Jericho. Instead, you know how he said he's the man of 1,001 holds? This man is the man of 1,000 faces. What?
Jericho is 1,004 holds.
Oh, okay.
A couple extra arm bars in there.
Oh, yeah. So he's the man of 1,004 faces. Because, like Aaron said, like you guys said, he tries to change his gimmick up every couple years. you've noticed he's growing his hair back long again, like he did back in the day, which I think is pretty cool. I mean,
He's
you're
a
in a
rock
rock
star.
band. You're in the rock band. You're gonna have to grow your hair out long. I like his music. I like his wrestling. I enjoy the list of Jericho.
R.I.P.
And
one more time. Let's see that one more time.
Last time.
I love Chris Jericho. And you know, he's doing great things in New Japan. Like you said, he had his cruise. I mean, the cruise was successful, so you know he'll probably have another one in the next couple of years or so. And
NoDQ should go on that.
NoDQ cruise?
We'll see if he ever. The only time I see him coming back to the WWE is when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He'll be back. He'll be back before then. I personally think he's showing public heat towards WWE, like he doesn't care about them, because he wants to divert the fans. Because one day he's going to show up and it's going to be a surprise, and we'll be like, "What?"
He's done everything though in WWE, so there's no point for him to come back.
It's still he's a light.
He wants to elevate his brand.
He's done everything.
Aaron, what was that?
No, he wants to elevate his brand. So he will say, "Hey, yeah, I don't need WWE. I'm gonna do New Japan or whatever," and that's his way of negotiating. The same way Brock Lesnar will say, "Hey, I'm gonna go do a UFC fight." And that's his way of playing the two sides against each other and getting the best deal for himself. So, again, Jericho's a smart businessman, trying to get the biggest paycheck possible and just keep his brand strong.
And you know what I'd like to see? If you know how WWE loves going after these UFC people now, I'd like to see them get Conor McGregor. When Conor finally says, "I'm not going to fight anymore," and you would think, "Oh, Conor and Brock and all that." No, you know what? I want Conor McGregor versus Chris Jericho. Damn, that would be sweet. But anyway, whatever. Fantasy booking. We had some unfortunate news. Seems like we always get with deaths. And today, as we're recording this, Larry the Axe Hennig. So that would be Curtis Axel's grandpa, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig's dad, passed away. That sucks because we have we have Curtis Axel left. And we don't see them. They don't use them, not even in a comedy role anymore. So, rest in peace to Larry the Axe Hennig, and of course Dynamite Kid. And what I remember of Dynamite Kid, the British Bulldogs, to me, were one of my first favorite tag teams of the 80s. And I remember they feuded against the Hart Foundation. They were the tag team champions. I remember they had the Bulldog. Davey Boy obviously was a star. Dynamite Kid battled a lot of injuries. I remember him is like the first Chris Benoit.
Yep.
Not in a bad way, but like the style, the smaller guy, but ripped. And I'll tell you what, it just sucks that he was pretty much out of wrestling because he got hurt. And I really only remember so much about him, this little, because I was just getting into wrestling when he was a tag team champion with Davey Boy Smith. And looking back now, when something like this happens, you go on YouTube, you start watching more stuff, you go on the network. Damn, man, could have had even with Chris Benoit, you think what could have been. So any thoughts around the horn? Aaron, I'll start with you because you're my generation, right? So you might know a little bit more than the other two youngies here. What do you think on Dynamite Kid? I hate these things, man.
He was like an early version of Chris Benoit. He was a smaller guy, like you said, very put together. He was in great shape, and he was very intense. He did a lot of fast-paced wrestling and something that was more in line with what we see today than what we saw in the 1980s when it was that era of the big guys, slow-paced, more character-based. Dynamite Kid was a different breed of a wrestler for that time. So he was definitely ahead of his time and deserves that recognition for his accomplishments. And no doubt he was an influence to Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and countless others. And Larry Hennig was definitely before my time, so there's not a whole lot I can say about him, but, just very sad. I do remember him making occasional cameo appearances on various shows. Like, I think he was on a Nitro once, and he was in the crowd for a show, I think, on a WWE event. So he's been around a little bit, and, just very sad because he was, part of 3 generations of superstars with him and then Mr. Perfect and then Curtis Axel. So
you know what the bitter pill for me to swallow is, Aaron? It just reminds me that Kurt passed away so young and his father outlived him, and I was a big Mr. Perfect fan, and
Me too.
that he was right up there with Jericho, Shawn, Owen. I mean, those to me are why I loved wrestling when I was a kid. TJS, did you do any thoughts on these two guys?
Well, he wasn't even alive when I think Mr. Perfect died.
No, but he's a diligent student, so
Yeah,
he gets his minute.
it's tragic. I understand that some wrestlers aren't in the best health nowadays, but it's just always sad when someone passes away from the wrestling world, and I feel like it's been very tragic this year. Tons and tons of deaths, and I just really hate to see it. Larry Henning, that is who Curtis Axel. Once he debuted the Curtis Axel character, they were saying, Curtis Axel after Larry the Axe Henning, his grandfather, of course, paying homage, and it just really sucks that character has gone nowhere. That he's in catering, and I remember when Curtis Axel first came on the scene, and he had a match with Triple H and took him to his limit in kayfabe, and now it's just sad. And as far as Dynamite Kid goes, it's like you guys said, first Chris Benoit. He was a big influence on Jericho and Chris Benoit as well. Not much else I can say about it. Like I said, it's very tragic. Big G?
And there's not much I can say else. I mean, it is sad that we had two more wrestling legends pass away. Larry the Axe Hennig was way before my time. So was Dynamite Kid in the 1980s. I did read a little bit of history on both of them. I might go back on YouTube or the network, watch some matches from them, and see how they were back in the day. Because I think they have AWA on there and stuff from the early 80s on the network. So it does suck for Curtis, though. His dad passed away. His grandpa passed away, So he's the only living, unless he has kids, maybe his sons can get into the family business when they get older as well.
Fourth generation.
Well, maybe he should leave WWE and join All Elite Wrestling. Make his grandpa and his dad proud.
If WWE ever cuts anybody.
It just sucks like that. And also, too, it reminds me, let's not just talk about somebody, watch. We don't have to always talk about them, but think about these wrestlers when we hear that they pass away. We got access to YouTube. We're all wrestling fans, right? And if Raw's so bad, don't watch Raw and spend time going back and watching people that you may not remember, or you weren't born yet. Because the footage is out. The WWE Network, you can watch some of it. And these guys paved the way.
Yeah, Dynamite Kid's definitely a guy you should go back and watch his Stampede wrestling stuff, too, and watch what he did in WWE with Davey Boy Smith against the Hart Foundation. They had a hell of a feud. They had the heel referee, Danny Davis. That was a great storyline. So go back and watch that stuff. Very entertaining. And, unfortunately, Dynamite Kid, he pretty much destroyed his body doing that high-impact, intense style that, guys like Benoit did with the headbutts off the top and all that sort of thing.
Yep. And that's just crazy because, wrestlers do that high-impact stuff today, and it's like, all right, hope you learn. I mean, look at Dynamite Kid.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
he's a lesson to learn. Look at what he did. But he
save
really
it for the
went
big
all out.
events.
He went all out. He was one of those guys that every night he went out there and would destroy his body to entertain people. And there's a lot of controversy about his personal life, but he really went out there every night and gave it his all for sure.
All right, well, hate talking about that stuff, but let's move back to wrestling. And, I'm looking down at Daniel Bryan's name here in my notes. He recently turned heel.
Yep.
How would you grade it so far? And I know we've only seen a little bit. It was interesting this week on SmackDown. Big G, I am going to start with you. I thought at first I didn't like where his promo was going with The Miz because I was like, wow, they're really letting The Miz get one over on him, And then Bryan waited patiently, and I saw a lot of people in the business tweeting and talking about it on other podcasts like Daniel Bryan's gimmick on SmackDown and really thought, hey, maybe this could be a good run for him, something different. We remember everybody being behind him as the Yes gimmick. Big G, grade Daniel Bryan's heel turn and discuss whatever's on your mind about it so far.
Well, I'm gonna grade from his return until his heel turn. I'm gonna give it a C minus. His heel turn until now, it's gonna go up to a B plus. I like Daniel Bryan as a heel. It's something different that we haven't seen in a long time, since 2011, I want to say. I liked his promo with The Miz. The promo before that, I like how he talks in third person. Hopefully he doesn't do it all the time to the point where it's going to be overkill. I like how he says fickle now instead of yes. I like how he is doing this whole environmental gimmick, saying how he did one bad sin on one bad day where he kicked AJ Styles in the balls, and how we sin every day and we send methane in the air and all. It was perfect.
It's like CM Punk Straight Edge Society, but in a different way.
It's perfect for him, because he is a vegan in real life, and he does wear, I think, like, his shoes are like really weird too, and I like how he has that jacket, the sweater jacket on, and he had that shirt with the bead in it or something like that. It looked like it. So it was perfect for him. I like it. I enjoy it. Hopefully they don't turn him face anytime soon. Hopefully he'll be a heel for, I mean, he's been a face for a long time, you know, so let him be heel for a couple years, you know.
So you're going B+ on the heel turn.
Yeah,
so far.
As of now. As of now.
Aaron Rift.
So far, I would say it's an A. I think he's done a great job with it. And like I said on No DQ Live, I think that was the highlight of the show, Daniel Bryan coming out there and just developing this new heel persona. I do think it's funny, though, that all the heels in WWE right now are pretty much preaching morality, and you can kind of understand their viewpoints. But the thing about Bryan that makes it great is that he's pretty much thumbing his nose at everybody and saying, hey, my way's the best way, and you're all wrong if you're doing something different from me. So, that's what makes it work. What's kind of like, it's like Chris Jericho. It's like a lot of people, CM Punk, and like Right to Censor, for instance, preaching morality, but also in a way where you're looking down on everybody and that sort of thing. So that's what makes it
Go look
great.
up the definition of the word virtue, too, by the way, and you'll understand why I named myself that.
Okay,
Just
gotcha.
go look at the definition.
I think he's doing a tremendous job with it so far, and I'm very entertained. And he needed it because he came back and it was cool he was back, but then it kind of fizzled out a little bit, and I feel like people were not really that invested in him, and he was just there. And I found myself watching SmackDown. Sometimes when he would be out there wrestling, I was on Twitter or doing something else, and I wasn't really paying attention to his matches. But now he has this chance to just reinvent himself. Like we said earlier, you got to change things up. And the yes thing was only going to work for so long. You got to do something different and go in a different direction. So, yeah, so far so good. I like it. TJS, your thoughts?
Exquisite storytelling. He got rid of the yes-trons. He took the yes side plates off the title. He looks crazy now. If you look at his hair, he doesn't brush it anymore. He just looks like a madman. And he comes out there.
Take your hat off for a second. Like that.
Yes,
okay.
Like this. And he screams like the environmental nonsense. It's awesome. And what's really good is you didn't hear Daniel Bryan say, "Oh, Houston, Texas, what a dump." He didn't do the cheap heat. Instead, he was saying, "You people are destroying the planet." He just came up with such a madman, and I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And also you had him, wrestle Brock at Survivor Series, and it was after Survivor Series that Daniel started acting crazy. So it's like he said, Brock Lesnar beat the old Daniel Bryan out of him. So we have this new Daniel Bryan who's much wiser, more experienced. If you remember in NXT, in 2010, he was called a nerd and everything for being an environmentalist. Michael Cole would always be like, Daniel Bryan doesn't even own a TV. And now this guy is arguably one of the hottest acts of the company. He looks crazy with the beard and everything. He's not the bowl cut nerd anymore. And it's awesome. I really hope that him and The Miz don't end up being partners, though.
Right.
I think those two need to be enemies. I think Miz should turn babyface, which I thought that was going to happen, but maybe not. Not sure what's going on there, but so far, this heel turn, A+. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Very, very
Michael Cole shouldn't be calling anybody a nerd, by the way. I give it an A. Right? It takes a lot to get a plus from me, but I didn't give it an A until this week on SmackDown. I've been clamoring for WWE to allow one of their talents to be condescending to the fans in the proper way and really to be smarky back to them. And I'm hoping this Daniel Bryan heel gimmick will be that guy. That's what I said they should always do with Roman. Even if they wanted to push him as a babyface, let him shoot on the crowd, right? If you're going to get booed, give them their own medicine back.
Right.
And Daniel Bryan, I think, is in that role now, and he kind of has to be because people love him, right? The yes chant. So how are you going to get people to boo you and hate you as a heel? You got to be condescending to him. So right now, A. And Big G, you're almost there. Maybe one more week and you'll bump that up.
I mean, it is really good, and I'm just thinking. Here's a thought. Do you think they had this planned out for a while, the heel turn, or did they think, hey, when they were in Atlanta, and he and AJ fought, and the fans were booing Daniel Bryan? Do you think backstage they're like, hey, they're booing him. What if we turn him heel?
I don't think so. I think
Becky Lynch getting punched by Nia, I think, was the catalyst to change it. It could have been in somebody's mind.
Right, somebody may
down
have
the
pitched
road.
the idea.
If they planned on turning him heel, then I don't think they would have done the whole co-captain storyline or started it with The Miz.
Right.
I think that, like you guys said, Becky getting punched was Vince like, we have to do something different here.
Yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to add. If you remember when Daniel Bryan was a heel, before he was doing the no thing, and that was a comedy thing, like it or not, just saying no instead of yes. Now he just completely ignores the yes chants. He goes out there, does like this, like he's going to do it, and then just walks out there like
They tried to what him, and he's like, that was so 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the smarkiness back to the fans, to me, is gold.
It's all we needed. It's awesome. When was the last time that the WWE champion was the highlight of a show? When
That's about time.
Yeah, it is. Hey, maybe now that Daniel Bryan is the champion, maybe they'll be the main event.
Well, he already was in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that with AJ, but they did with Daniel Bryan.
Let's not get carried away.
All right. Well, and you got to remember, they booked the whole WrestleMania around Daniel Bryan as well. Let's talk one more thing here about a couple more things about SmackDown. Imagine that this week. There's 3 feuds or beginning feuds that are happening, and the only reason why I want to bring them up is that way we can bunch them all together. It's like making a 6-man tag team match, right? Just like WWE does. But I guess I want to know if any of these could be a sleeper feud. That's what I miss these days. You would be watching the main event, you'd be watching the things WWE pushes, and then something would come out of the woodwork, and it'd be like, wow. Like, for instance, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, the Festival of Friendship. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. I want to have something that I'm not expecting to be like really great, be great. And do any of these fit that bill? Aaron Rift, I'll start with you. Joe versus Hardy. Joe's a bartender now. That's interesting. Nakamura versus Rusev. You can chuckle and laugh, but it's potential. And then Orton versus Ray. Do you think any one of these 3 could be a sleeper feud of something we talk about for years to come, or are they all just going to be blah?
Well, I feel like Rusev and Nakamura is going to go nowhere. I feel like those guys are probably going to be on the kickoff of TLC, or they might not even be on the card at this point. Actually, I don't even think they are. They might be, though. Who knows? They could be added as a kickoff match. They already have like 10 matches for the pay-per-view, and I don't think somebody might have to look it up. I actually posted it earlier, so I should know, but I already forgot, so... yeah.
What does that say about the product?
Yeah, exactly. Like I like the fact that they're actually doing a feud, but my feeling is it's going to be a kickoff match, or they're just going to do a blow off on SmackDown. Maybe Rusev will win the U.S. title. I don't know. I really don't care. Orton versus Rey Mysterio is fine, but we've already seen it before. I did like that RKO from the other week when Rey was doing that slide to the outside. That was pretty sweet. So it may turn out to be a good match. It's fine. I don't know if it's going to be like a big hit or anything, but Joe versus Jeff Hardy, I think that does have some potential, even though it is kind of like a repeat of CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy. It's kind of the same thing here where, and again, Joe's using the morality thing, and he's a heel here. But the thing is, he's putting down Jeff Hardy, who's having problems, instead of trying to help a guy when he's down. You're kicking him when he's down, and that's what makes him a good heel. So I do like the storyline, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And I think those guys could have a really interesting feud. I did mention this on No DQ Live. I would not mind seeing like Joe show footage from Victory Road. I don't think they're going to do that, but I think that would be hilarious if they actually showed the footage of him there and Joe making a big deal out of it. I think it would be...
I agree, Aaron. I kind of wish Joe would befriend Jeff initially and get him to come to his bar and get Jeff to start drinking again and then turn on him. Like, you know what I mean? But we don't get that storytelling anymore because,
Right.
you know, don't want to fall off the wagon. Well, you know, you can have iced tea in your beer bottle for a story.
But
you
of the
know?
three of them, I would say I think Joe and Jeff Hardy has the most potential. But Big G, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on pretty much everything you said. But I mean, Rusev and Nakamura. Okay, they could have. They're in Las Vegas next week, so they could have a U.S. title match there, and Rusev win it there, and not even be on TLC, and that'll be just a one-off. Nakamura will get his rematch, and that'll be it. Orton and Mysterio, I think, could be a good feud. I mean, we've seen them back in the day when they had the feud, and now they're feuding again, and making it a little bit more personal with Orton tearing off the mask and everything like that.
Right.
And I think it was it you, Virtue, and I, when we talked about it, have like Dominic come in and get an RKO or something like that?
He's getting trained by Lance Storm, so God, it would be cool because he's huge. He's like taller than Ray. He's probably as tall as Orton.
And then Joe and Hardy, I think, would be a good feud as well. You know, me and Virtue talked about it on Tuesday. He mentioned, you know, or Joe befriending Hardy, but like you say, we don't get anything like that. So, I mean, if it was us three writing everything or anybody else,
Us three. So which one of us four isn't going to be on the team?
TJS.
I had to.
He's too busy being the toilet. Good night, everybody.
That was good right there.
We need somebody to flush the toilet for us.
Between the four of us now, we could write something to where all three feuds would potentially be feuds of the year. But with how creative is and writing is, I don't think we're going to get anything exciting. We're just going to have matches after matches after matches after matches. Like, we've seen Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton so many times.
Right.
And they had Orton and Hardy again. But, I mean, they did build up on Joe and Hardy because they had Joe on the Titantron and, you know, distract Jeff. So we got a little bit of a build up with the storyline. We'll see where it goes from here. I don't think they're going to fight at TLC because that's just too early.
Right.
I would have them feud at the Royal Rumble or even a couple SmackDowns afterwards. You know, build up the storylines. That's what they need to do nowadays. But like we said before, they don't. We just get a little bit of a build up, a match, and we get bored and tired of it, and we complain and bitch.
TJS, do you think on these three, do you think WWE should exploit Jeff Hardy and on TV make him look like he's starting to drink again and drunk, and Joe finds him in bars and does pre-shoots? Well, why? Why? If everybody, as long as Jeff's not doing it in real life, it's acting. So go ahead. What's your thoughts?
I think that, like Aaron said, they need to show Victory Road footage, and then Joe could say, that video does not do it justice. I was backstage, and I saw firsthand how messed up Jeff was. Like, this guy couldn't walk or anything once he got backstage. You could exaggerate. Say, like, as soon as he got backstage, he passed out. Even though that really didn't happen. And then you could show, like, footage of Jeff Hardy coming out with a cigarette when he was the TNA champion and just talk about that. And is it just me, or is Jeff Hardy getting kind of boring as a babyface?
That's why we need a good story behind him to want to like this.
Like, I just kind of groan whenever I hear his music play now. It's like, if he's not like in a pay-per-view match, I feel like it just gets kind of boring. I think they need to go with the Brother Nero thing. He has a shirt that says obsolete now, so maybe they'll follow up on that. Nakamura and Rusev, man, what can you say? Rusev was the hottest act in the company, and then he just fell under because that's what WWE does. And Orton versus Ray, I don't know. I really like seeing Ray back, but I feel like we've seen this match a lot, and I'm kind of tired of it too because Randy Orton's just doing the same old thing where he's like, I'm going to take away your mask. And if Rey Mysterio was smart, he would just come out with a mask that would be harder to pull off because he wears like the half mask, so Orton can just easily rip it off. If he was a smart babyface, he would come out with like a durable mask that Orton couldn't rip.
Well, you're using too much logic here for WWE.
Second
Just
one
like-
underneath it,
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah. Do something. But these all seem like mid-card feuds to me. But at least there's something. It's better than what's going on Raw. I'll say that.
Yeah, but that's not saying much.
True.
Remember, no one mentioned that Nakamura won the Royal Rumble this year. Just
I know,
absolutely
right?
crazy. At least Asuka gets back into a big match, right, against Becky and Charlotte.
Right.
So good for her. But poor Nakamura is the U.S. champ. Hardly
Right.
ever defends it. Not on pay-per-views.
The card I posted earlier today, that match has not been announced yet. There's already 10 matches on the card, so I don't think they're going to add that. My feeling is one of these matches on the card will be the kickoff.
Tables match. Make it the tables match.
Well, it wouldn't shock me if it was like the Mixed Match Challenge Finals. That could end up being the kickoff.
I don't think so. It has high stakes.
Or, poor Usos, New Day, and Bar, they'll be the kickoff match.
Yeah, probably.
Gosh, we're going to have to do another preview and prediction soon. That's going to mess up our no DQ review time.
I know.
Come on.
We've been we've had other things going on here. We haven't been able to keep a consistent schedule. But hopefully after TLC, we should be able to get back into a regular schedule with this.
I'm going to go and say I hope Joe comes out of this pretty good because he's really got crapped on. You could say Nakamura and Rusev have all got crapped on, but I don't know, man. Joe's the epitome of what you were and Finn Balor too, what you were in NXT and how Vince McMahon sees you on the main roster. And I don't know. I would just like to see Joe versus Hardy have that special, real life type drama and angle that would make the payoff match really, really good. I don't know, but
do something really, really over the top. Have Samoa Joe knock Jeff Hardy out and then carry him into a bar or something.
Could they stage a DUI like Jeff's driving into the arena, or and again,
what about a fake DUI?
Yeah, I don't know, just something. Yes, we don't like people that have real life issues. Have Vince McMahon exploit it, but it's entertainment and television. Money talks.
Have Jeff Hardy go to his car, and then when he opens the door, a bunch of beer bottles fall out. That's Samoa Joe.
I don't know. I'm picking maybe we get something interesting with Joe and Hardy. We'll see. All right, let's talk about Becky Lynch. Most of everybody's new favorite man. So I wrote down here, is Becky really the man? And I'm going to ask each one of you, can she overcome the Machine? CM Punk kind of did it, but they still kind of held him back. They never let him main event WrestleMania. Becky's getting that popularity, kind of like a Punk had. We talked about the Stone Cold Steve Austin 97 comparison. CM Punk a little bit. She really has a following. She's tweeting Conor McGregor and other big stars, and they're tweeting her back.
Right.
So Becky has potential to make a lot of money this next year.
Yep.
But do you think she can overcome the Machine's booking and become a legend after this? She should, right? Because the fans want to see it. TJS, I'm going to start with you. Thoughts on the man?
Well, it's just been great. Somehow, her getting her face broken has made her even more popular. It's just been awesome. I can't believe that Becky Lynch used to be lost in the shuffle. She used to just do the comedy where she just made the puns and did her little flying firearm, I believe it was called. And do you remember the tea time?
Yep.
And it's crazy to think what a heel turn could do for someone.
Yep.
And Becky, man, it's like I said, I think she needs to close WrestleMania with Ronda. And I stand by that. She even made this contract signing entertaining. She just straight up laughed after she signed the contract. Like that, I just think that's so cool. She has the Trons and everything. Just excellent. I love every single bit of this character. And I think that, yes, I think she's going to overcome the booking because you can't boo her. No one can boo her because I think that she's the female Stone Cold Steve Austin, but in her own way. She has like her own twist to it.
Right.
And it's just
red hair.
It's very hard to outshine Charlotte Flair, but that's what Becky's done. It's crazy. I love it. Aaron.
She has outshined everybody. Very well said, TJS. I think you made some great points, and I agree with you. I think that she is going to overcome the booking because WWE, first of all, they are on a women's evolution kick. There's been talk about a possible Queen of the Ring tournament next year, and they're probably going to do another women's pay-per-view. So WWE is still pushing to book the women as strongly as possible. Ronda Rousey headlining WrestleMania seems like it's a realistic possibility, especially now that Roman Reigns is out of the picture. I think the odds of that have increased even more. And, you got to strike the iron when it's hot. When you look up and down the roster, it's got to be Becky versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. That's the money match. And, she's going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And she very well could end up being the person that defeats Ronda Rousey and gives her her first official loss in WWE. Big G, do you think that Becky is going to, if that match does happen, do you think that she will emerge victorious, or do you think that WWE will have her, because of the booking, they may decide to not, as Virtue pointed out earlier, maybe not let her get too big because they don't want somebody who could potentially walk out on the company and go somewhere else. What do you think about that?
That's a good question, Aaron. I think she can overcome all this and become a legend in her own way, not comparing her to Stone Cold or CM Punk. Let her be her own character, which she is. She's the man. Mm-hmm. And I watched NXT from the start, and she's come a long way from NXT till now. Her being on Raw with PCB, going to SmackDown, doing the comedy stuff with Tea Time and Straight Fire, and now she's the man. Now, as far as her main eventing WrestleMania with Ronda, I can see that being like a 75% chance of happening, and I see like 50. I don't know how they could have Ronda win it, or they could have Becky win it. It depends on who's more popular during that time. If Ronda's going to start getting booed, or if Becky's going to get cheered even more, and we'll see. We'll go when the time comes. I mean, we could see at TLC, because it's dual brand, I'm going to do some fantasy booking here. We could see somehow after Becky Lynch wins her match or loses her match, she comes out and interferes in Ronda and Nia's match and has distracts Ronda and has Nia win. That way they can build up their feud a little bit more. That way when Royal Rumble comes up, they can feud a little bit more, and then at WrestleMania they can have their match.
All right, let me ask you guys this, because my memory's already. When was the last time Becky Lynch main evented any show?
It's been a while. I don't think she's ever closed the pay-per-view before.
Let's slow our roll. Maybe she has somewhere, but let's slow our roll about WrestleMania.
Right.
It's a dream. Fans want it, But when does WWE give fans what they want?
Yeah, but they are also politically correct, and right now, putting the women in the main event is the right thing for publicity.
And I still think Charlotte's she's gonna get that spot. So
I don't
know how. And the reason why I say that, I just don't, as great as Becky has been for herself and her brand, and her fans are behind her, I just don't think in today's WWE, the machine is going to get behind her enough to let her become a bigger star than them. And I've already seen Nia wailing at her. Charlotte in the promo on SmackDown I think she went off script a little bit, because it seemed like Becky was taken aback a little bit. And Charlotte kind of said some things back to Becky and made Becky like, you were supposed to say that? I just think that other stars that are already in their spot. Now, Nia, because she's The Rock's cousin. Charlotte, because she's Ric Flair's daughter. They're not afraid to throw potatoes and say things that maybe weren't scripted. And I think they're going to do everything they can to hold Becky back. And I think the machine is going to make it hard. So I hate saying this. We'll get great stuff, don't get me wrong, out of Becky. I just don't think she's going to get into the main event of WrestleMania because of the machine. That's just my thought. Doesn't mean I don't want it to happen.
So you think it's going to be Ronda Charlotte at WrestleMania?
I think that's what the original plan was. And what did we get last year? Brock and Roman Reigns, the original plan. I know how WWE is. In a story, now granted, Daniel Bryan happened in 2015. Was it 14?
Yeah.
Okay. So you never say never, right? But look back to CM Punk. Everything was epic with him. They held him into the mid-card, more or less.
Right.
Yeah. It's just the machine likes who they like, and despite who the fans want, you know?
If she drops the title, I think that's a good sign, actually.
Right, if Asuka wins
it's not that I don't want it. I'm just trying to be realistic here, and I still think Charlotte Ronda and Becky's going to, maybe Becky is in it too, but they're already doing a triple threat with Asuka. Who knows?
Right.
We'll have to see. I just don't, you can't bet against the machine, right? WWE.
It's hard to. I mean, you're right.
I understand, Richard. I mean, you're just being realistic about it.
I know. We are. Yeah.
People think I hate Becky. I have a picture with a cardboard cutout on my profile of all my social media.
It's a profile picture.
Right? I understand. And Aaron, we've talked about Becky for all year on the NoDQ review. And you and I have both said we like her, but why aren't they doing anything with her? It's out there, people. I like Becky. I'm not trolling you. I'm just trying to be realistic.
And you're making a great point because it is hard to really have confidence that WWE is going to do what the fans want to see.
It would be cool if it happened. Could you imagine Becky closing Mania and winning? I mean, that's huge. Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge moment. If WWE really cares about the women's revolution and making the women the focal point and giving the fans that special moment, that would be it.
And
huge.
Star power, too. That's another thing. That could help her because there's no Roman around right now. And I mean, you can have Brock main event again. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've had a great NoDQ review, but let's do an open potluck main event. And I said in the chat, I want everybody to pick, and it could probably be something we already talked about today. I want everybody to pick something to rage about. And it could be Raw, right? It could be you don't like the Dean Ambrose promo, whatever it is. But Big G, I'm looking at you. So in the main event right now, before we close out this NoDQ review number 40. Rage about something in wrestling, anything.
Well, I got a bone to pick with Aaron and TJS.
Nice. I get to watch.
You got popcorn?
All right.
I don't need it.
Both of you said TJS. You said NXT is boring, or NXT UK is boring.
Boy, here we go.
And Aaron, you asked me what their characters are.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so. If Raw was only a 2-hour show and SmackDown was a 2-hour show, which it is, and you don't have to watch NXT and NXT UK when it comes out on Wednesday. You could watch it a day or two afterwards. If Raw was if Raw was 2 hours and SmackDown, which is 2 hours, would you guys give NXT? Well, I know Aaron doesn't watch NXT at all or NXT UK, but TJS, would you give NXT UK a chance? How many episodes have you watched?
I've watched, I think, 4 or 5.
Okay. All right. So each episode, it's like 2 episodes a day on Wednesdays because they pre-record it like they do NXT. But they are developing characters in NXT UK. You have this guy, Eddie Dennis, who's a badass, who's just dominating. You have Rhea Ripley, who's this badass woman.
So they all have the same gimmick. They're just a bunch of.
Is she the champion?
UFC characters.
Oh man, my girl Candy Floss. Shout out to Candy Floss. I'm gonna tag her when Aaron posts this. I love her. I love her gimmick. I want her to get signed. Okay, go ahead.
Who else is there on NXT UK? You got Mustache Mountain and Pete Dunne. They're getting big. They're big over there. They have Gallus, which consists of Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers. They're these Scottish guys who believe that NXT UK is their kingdom. It's still starting out. NXT UK, building their characters and stuff like that. You got new people coming in every week. You have the Mod Father, Flash Morgan Webster. You have Mark Andrews. You have all these different people, and it's such a breath of fresh air when you see these new and upcoming talents from NXT and NXT UK to see these. Yeah, I'm repeating myself. These new talents.
You're excited.
It's exciting to watch. When you watch Raw and SmackDown, yeah, it's been out for a long time, but it seems like we see the same characters all the time. They just rinse and repeat. NXT and NXT UK. I'm gonna say it again. You have fresh talent, new matches. They don't make these long ass matches. They do short matches. They build the storylines. They build their characters, and that's why I think a lot of people go on the network and watch NXT and NXT UK because it's a breath of fresh air. So
you were showing me that list of the most watched network shows, and I saw a lot of NXT sprinkled in the top 10 there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it again. It's a breath of fresh air.
Oh, all right. You should join that tea party that Stephen Osborne has going on NoDQ.
NXT UK is not a bad show. It's that I'm not invested in the characters because I don't know who they are.
You would be Candy Flaw. Well, I think she was just the one-time appearance.
It was the one-time thing.
There's potential.
It's people just coming out there and wrestling. There's no like real promos in it from what I've seen, and I don't just want to watch people fight. I want to know why these people are fighting.
Right.
And
That's why you have to keep on watching it because the storylines keep on developing with the different people. You just can't watch one episode and base it off.
I miss. All right, here's my rage. I miss larger than life characters. I want to see a live action comic book character. I want to see somebody who is somebody. If you see okay, let me tell you this. Any of these guys, Mark Andrews or anybody you named, if you saw them in an airport with 500 people, would you even recognize them? No. They're vanilla midgets. I hate to sound like Kevin Nash here, but I want to see more guys that look like stars. I sound like Big Vito here, quite frankly. I want to see somebody where there's 500 people in a room. That guy is going to stand out from everybody else. I want to see more people like that. I want to see guys that have personality. I want to see characters that are over the top. I want to see more $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's. I want to see more Jake the Snake Roberts type characters.
We're not gonna
Macho
get that
Man Randy
anymore
Savage.
We're not in that era anymore.
But I want to see more characters.
And ratings are plummeting.
Yeah, and even during the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the beer-swilling redneck, toughest SOB in the WWE. I want to see The Rock. I want to see Mankind. I want to see The Undertaker, Kane. These were characters that were over the top, live action comic book characters. I don't want to see Joe Schmo who goes out there with plain tights and does a bunch of flips. I want to see characters. I want to see guys with layers and adjectives that you can use to describe them other than they're just a badass who stands around and does flips. So that's my rage.
Well, TJS, you have to do a rage now, and then I have to pick a winner of you three.
Oh, I'm going to rage. But first, I want to know, Aaron, who do you think is the most iconic character in WWE right now that's not an old-timer?
Somebody who's currently in WWE. I hate to say it, but probably Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. I hate to say it.
Fair. So
Becky's on her way, by the way, if WWE doesn't drop the ball with her.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about championships and how they're props. They're secondary. Look at the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. This used to be the workhouse or the workhorse championship, and now why is Dean Ambrose getting a shot at the title? What did he do? What did he do to earn the title shot?
He turned heel.
So when do you consider the Intercontinental Championship was great? Like, are you talking like back in the larger-than-life era?
Mr. Perfect, you know? And I miss those vignettes. Here's another rage. I miss when we actually had, like, the vignettes to...
This one doesn't count for his grade, but go ahead.
To elevate the characters and get you invested in them. I like when Mr. Perfect would do the basketball. And I brought up Ted DiBiase earlier when they would have him shut down the pool. I miss those segments. I'd rather see those segments than guys going out there and doing flips. I think those vignettes were way more effective in making me care about the characters and get invested in them. And even during the Attitude Era, you had Val Venus. Val Venus is coming. You had Jenna Jameson there with him. And just all these different vignettes to build up these characters and give you a reason to care about them. Anyways,
remember how Paul Bearer talked to bring Kane in, like those weeks and weeks of promos? He's coming.
Yeah, like that was storytelling, and that was building up interest and suspense. Like you're wondering, when's Kane gonna show up? What's he gonna look like? What's he gonna do? All these questions.
And now they announce that stuff in advance now. It's like Lars Sullivan, and it'll say like next week.
Right, and they never have cliffhangers anymore. I mean, that's another rant. I'm sure we've talked about that before. You know, Breaking Bad. You know, we mentioned Breaking Bad earlier. Masters when it came to cliffhangers, but you look at WWE, they don't even do cliffhangers anymore. There's no hook for the next show. They just announce everything on social media. Oh, by the way, we're doing this next week, or breaking news, this is happening, instead of getting people guessing.
Who writes this? I want to know, because whoever the writer is, I want to fly.
A guy that likes his paycheck and will do whatever it takes to make Vince happy.
Go back to your titles, TJS. So you were talking about titles meaning more than meaning more again, like they used to.
Okay.
Right?
But first, I want to say that I want to find the head writer for Raw and shit on his desk.
Whoa!
So you want to shit on Vince McMahon's desk because, to be honest with you, I don't think there's a head writer anymore because it's a team of writers. So therefore, that title goes to Vince. So you want to crap on Vince McMahon's desk? Okay.
I wish
a lot of people probably do.
He could buy you off for $500, by the way.
Oh God, Kayfabe Candy is going to do a graphic of that.
Oh boy!
I can't wait. All right, go ahead.
Okay, now back to the titles. So yeah, the titles don't matter. And then you look at AOP. Don't even get me started. You had Bobby Roode distracted by a manager pissing on his robe. It was a title match. Aren't the titles supposed to be the best things? Don't you want to be the champion? So why are you worried about a robe? You have millions of robes, man. You can get them. You make all kinds of money.
It's a great point.
He came out this week with no robe, like he doesn't have $1 million more.
So he's a poor whatever, like Bobby Roode, the rich guy who, well, that was TNA gimmick, but still, like.
And then, here we go. We're gonna talk about the Revival. Do you guys remember when they first came on Raw? They came out, accepted the New Day's challenge. They knocked the ice cream cart over, stomped on it. They beat New Day 2 weeks in a row. In NXT, they were burning the house down every single week, every takeover. They were doing awesome. But what are they doing now? They're in handicap matches with 3 luchadors that are supposed to be baby faces. Why? Who's getting over? It's like Aaron said. Why are the good guys teaming up against the bad guys? It doesn't make any sense. And if you watch the YouTube clips of Raw, you would see this week it was maybe last week where Baron Corbin, Lashley, and his third lackey, who was a Drew McIntyre, they beat down Finn Balor 3-on-1. And
so we're seriously calling Drew McIntyre a lackey right now. Wow.
That's how I do.
I know though. You know
well,
what I mean?
He had so much momentum coming off of that Kurt Angle, and nothing's really going on with him now. He lost to Dolph Ziggler, and yeah, it's pretty lame. But
I remember now.
TJS, you brought up the titles, and I just wanted to add also the fact that the champions don't even defend their titles on pay-per-views, like Shinsuke Nakamura, and when he does, he's on the kickoff. Every title should be defended on the pay-per-view, and they should all be marquee matches as far as I'm concerned. Big G.
Which means they might have to combine titles, because I think they'd have too many.
I've made this argument. That's another great point right there. Big G?
Going back to my NXT thing, I think the titles in NXT right now, I'm not going to say NXT UK because I only have Pete Dunne and Rhea Ripley as the champions, but I think the championships in NXT mean a lot more down there than they do on Raw and SmackDown. Because at least on NXT, we see the titles being defended in every single takeover, and on NXT here and there. But like you said, TJS, on Raw, AOP had a match with Gable and Rude, and half the match was seen on the Titantron with Drake Maverick pissing on his robe. It's so stupid. And I do feel bad for the Revival. The Revival were the hottest things in NXT as a tag team. They come to Raw, like you said, beat New Day, and now they're jokes. I think Vince McMahon has something against these NXT talents. Like Virtue said, they're good in NXT, but when they come to Raw and SmackDown, Vince doesn't see anything in them, and it irritates the frick out of me. Aaron.
Well, not everybody could be a main eventer. Just keep that in mind. So
Yeah,
some guys are going to be lower card, some guys are going to be mid card. But yeah, it's all about making the most out of the guys and hiding their weaknesses and playing up to their strengths. I mean, that was a whole Paul Heyman attitude, which we really don't see. Like, you can still have guys lose matches, but still get over even in defeat. And to defend NXT, a lot of times on those TakeOver pay-per-views, you do have matches where guys lose, and sometimes they come out stronger in defeat because the storytelling is done properly. So I will agree on that. And there is one little nitpick, though, like with Pete Dunne, he never seems to defend the UK title on the NXT pay-per-views, which I think is a mistake. I think he should be defending that title every single TakeOver.
Well, I mean, before they had NXT UK, I mean, he would defend it on NXT TV. But now with NXT UK, he's been defending it more on TV over there.
Yeah.
So that's why we
too
haven't
much
been seeing
TV.
him
It's too much TV. That's the problem too. And
Yeah,
no. I know in my case, this is my job, so I got to cover the most mainstream stuff first, which is Raw and SmackDown. If I wasn't doing this for a living, maybe I would give NXT UK more of a chance and try something different. Then again, I don't even know if I would be watching, period, because I just get so burned out on it. So it's hard to say how I would react personally if I didn't have NoDQ and I wasn't, in a position where I need to focus on the mainstream stuff first, and then I can work my way down.
Yeah.
You all made great rages. Tyler?
I'm not done. I'm still going to talk about...
Oh, he's going for brownie points. Okay.
Okay. So you had AOP...
Hour and a half. Longest review ever.
Number
all right, go.
40. You had AOP and Drake Maverick versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode in a handicap match. And the announcers were talking about how this is so corrupt. Then you had the Lucha House Party versus Scott Dawson, 3-on-1. The announcers were like, oh, that's fine. That's just how the Lucha House Party does it. Oh, so entertaining. So cool. They do the flips. They wear the mask. Lucha, Lucha, Lucha. That's fine. But when you have a 3-on-2, oh, how corrupt that is. It's stupid. And then Dean Ambrose. This guy's supposed to be a lunatic, but he's wearing a gas mask. Is he a germaphobe? He gets vaccinated.
Well, it's the same stupid. It's the same stupid crap that he did, with the potted plant. Only he's a heel now.
What is going on?
The imagery of the gas mask was cool. The air raid siren was cool, but how they delivered him getting to that point by just saying they stink, that's where I think you're not. You know what I mean? But think about back in the Attitude Era, even before then, the Golden Era, having the guys come out in gas masks as these heels, like, Sergeant Slaughter burnt the American flag. That, you know what I mean? So there's potential. They're not delivering the story to its potential, though. So I understand why you hate this.
I was so excited when Dean Ambrose turned heel because he was a vile bastard. How could he turn on his brother the night that his other brother got sick? But now he comes out there and he's like, man, this town sure smells bad. And it's terrible.
What? Yeah.
This guy, he's a lunatic. So why is he running away from Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins runs down there? I want Dean Ambrose to run towards Seth Rollins. Beat him up. Make Seth Rollins scared of him. Don't make him run away like the typical heel. Make Dean Ambrose come out with a chainsaw. Do something different.
Chainsaw Charlie.
We don't want the same old Seth. Like, he's basically how Seth Rollins used to be. He just comes up there and he's like, man, this town sucks. I'm tired of it.
It's in repeat.
I'm surprised that when Dean Ambrose came out in that gas mask, he didn't say, I don't want to catch leukemia. And the reason why I'm saying that is because WWE, it's my time to rage now. Stop talking about Roman Reigns having leukemia in your storylines unless it's a work, unless you already know that his doctor said he's back in remission, but we're going to milk it. Unless you know that, stop talking about a disease that kills people, right? You do all your philanthropy stuff with Connor's Cure and all that. Roman is sick. Let him be sick. If he wants to make public appearances at college football games and whatnot, that's fine. To show his fans he's doing okay. Stop talking about leukemia in the damn promos.
Well, maybe he approved it. Maybe his attitude is like, well, if you're going to die in the ring, die, do that because it's good for business.
I don't think he approved that. I think they know more than we do, and things are looking optimistic. Maybe that's why they're talking about it a lot. But let the guy go away for a while, right? Because if he does beat this, which he will, it goes into remission, and when he comes back, you don't like have people wondering how his health is, and so that can make it all more meaningful when he's back. But instead, now you're throwing shots at leukemia just to build an angle.
By the way, my line
talk
was
about it when he comes back, when he's healthy.
My line was,
When he's
if you're
healthy.
going to die in the ring, it's good for business. That was the Roddy Piper quote that a promoter told him. And keep in mind, Roman Reigns is an old school guy, so he may have that attitude. Hey, you know what? If you guys can make money off of this, then do it. Take a negative and turn it into a positive.
That's not him dying in the ring, though. Let him be out there and do it himself. Let him be. I mean, granted, if he's sick, he probably can't travel and stuff.
I mean, he's got that, he's the old school mentality. Let's draw money,
This is the same company that had Randy Orton say that Eddie Guerrero was in hell.
That is true.
It's the same company that made fun of Jim Ross's Bell palsy. Like, they're dirty.
And they said,
Katie Vicks.
and Stephanie McMahon recently said dismembered in a promo after they come back from Saudi Arabia.
WWE doesn't care. And one more thing that I wanted to talk about was Renee Young. When the commentators are like, "So Renee, what do you know about this with Dean Ambrose?" And then she's just like, "I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, who writes it?"
And they just keep repeating it every single week, too.
And then they go into what about the soft voice thing?
They should have showed Renee sitting in commentary with a mask on, too.
Yeah, like that's Dean.
Maybe Renee could benefit from a heel turn at this point, just to shake things up with her a little bit.
There's no.
Well, we all had something to rage about.
I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna have.
That's fine. Aaron Rift is the winner because I think when he got you two flustered more than you flustered him. So I'm gonna give him this week's win. So you guys can go back and rewatch this if we ever do this segment again, and then you can figure it out. But it's basically like Roman Reigns picking Vince McMahon right here. So
pretty much.
Whatever.
Yeah, he knows how to be.
Go back and watch it. No DQ Galaxy. Put in the comments. Don't count mine because it was my idea. But between TJS, Big G, and Aaron Rift, who had the best rage?
It's okay. I'm the predictions champ. So.
Just because I said Aaron Rift won, what if everybody in the comments said TJS won?
Well, we'll have to do
debate, spark interest.
We should do this rage thing every week. Like everybody has a rage topic.
Let's see how it goes over. I really hope you put this up as a premiere where we get to chat along as it goes. But if not, that's okay. That's it. We've probably hit an hour and a half, so let's do our plugs.
All right, sounds good.
TJS.
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook. Add me there. We could talk. And then Twitter @NoDQ_TJS. Follow me there. It'll be a good time. Also, there's a petition that Scott Dawson has tweeted out. You can go sign it, and they're talking about banning Lucha House rules. Please sign it. There's like 4,000 signatures on it.
You're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution by bringing that up.
Look, I think that this needs
you're
to be
buying
signed.
into the storyline now is what you're doing. So basically you're saying, hey, it's okay what they're doing. You're getting into it. You're like, yeah, we got to sign the petition. Yeah.
So now they're going to say like, oh, there's 4,000 signatures. So we're going to do more Lucha House rules. It's awful. Anyway, that's all for me. Big G.
NoDQ.com/Big G. Takes you to my Twitter page. I'm finally over 200 followers. I'm getting up there. NoDQ_Big G takes you to Instagram. Jeffrey Hilltool is my Facebook. NoDQ.com/shirts. We're all wearing shirts. Virtue's got his new NoDQ.com/ #FireVirtue.
And even if you're not one of my haters, you can still get this shirt. It's not bad. I want you to get it. I think it's cool. It's like NWO.
And this coming Tuesday, if we do our Facebook Live, hopefully it's done right.
With your wonderful graphics.
Will be the 1 year anniversary of Virtue's Rage on Facebook Live.
All right.
So that is it for the Big G.
Aaron Rift.
So, yeah, you guys pretty much plugged everything. Make sure you follow all the No DQ personalities, TJS, Big G, Virtue. Follow all the great characters. Good old JM, Jeff Meacham, over at NoDQ.com/Jeff. Follow Caitlin at Caitlin with an I. Follow Aaron, the other Aaron, ERIN, NoDQ.com/Aaron. Follow Kayfabe Candy Ass, who has been creating some amazing artwork. Absolutely hilarious. So Props to
pooping on
kayfabe.
Vince McMahon's desk, kayfabe. Pooping on Vince McMahon's desk.
Yeah, NoDQ.com/KCA will take you to his page. He's an awesome guy, so go follow his stuff, check out his videos, and follow Greg, of course, who's been doing a great job with Wrestling Trivia Challenge. Keep checking out those episodes, and you see TJS has the Pensend t-shirt, rocking that. And follow Stefan and General Jerry. They're doing a great job with the NXT recaps of the weekly Wednesday show plus the NXT UK. So check out everybody. Interstate Kyle's doing his stuff too. He's still around. Cindy, of course, who's been absolutely wonderful, being helpful with the channel. And Noah Foster too is a new guy that we have on the team now. He's doing the graphs for us with the predictions, and go check him out, Noah Foster, or you can find him on Twitter. I got to make him a NoDQ URL, but we'll have him on soon. Follow everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Virtue, did I miss anybody? Or if not, then go ahead and
I
close
think
this
you got
up.
everybody.
I think you did get everybody. And Stephen Osborne.
I did mention him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So I forgot Stephen Osborne.
You're fired.
Sorry, Stephen. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. Facebook, NoDQ.com/Virtue. For Aaron Rift, for TJS, for Big G, and that great shirt. I'm Virtue. Thank you for watching.